Good morning, students. Welcome you all on the Board of Studies virtual classes organized by ICAI. Students, my name is Alok Garg. Let me introduce myself. I'm a chartered accountant. I have qualified in 2007. I'm also company secretary. I'm also author of 4 books on Indian accounting standard and schedule 3. I'm a regular faculty in this course since last 10 years almost, and I have taken more than 850 lectures in Ind AS, accounting standard, IFRS, schedule 3, etc., etc. So students, these classes are relevant for May 2026 and the prospective examinations. Students, you will be happy to know that all the faculties who will be taking the classes in CA final, they are the faculties who have a rich experience. Of course, they are the chartered accountants. They will take you through with the relevant concepts, key concepts, with the help of the practical life examples and with the help of examples from Board of Studies ICAI material. Okay. So let's begin the journey. Let's start the journey. And once again, a warm welcome and a very good morning to everyone. So students, today being the first topic, will take you through with introduction to Ind AS. What is this financial reporting subject? This financial reporting is all about Indian accounting standards. 95% of your financial reporting syllabus is Indian accounting standards. Means you have to read, you have to understood Indian accounting standard for scoring well in your financial reporting examination. Okay. So friends, first of all, we need to understand what is Indian accounting standard, why Indian accounting standard, how come this Indian accounting standard came when we have our accounting standards, when we have our AS. We'll talk about these concepts, that why Ind AS, what Ind AS, how Ind AS, for what Ind AS. Okay. Then we will discuss roadmap and applicability to various entities in India. Right. Ind AS is applicable to which set of entities? We'll talk about that aspect also, and why it is important to understand that Ind AS is applicable to which entity. Megha, why it is important to understand that Ind AS is applicable to which set of entities? Priya, would you like to explain? Ind AS is applicable to which set of entities? It is important to understand. Why? Because in India, there are 2 sets of standard prevailing as of now. Accounting standard as well as Ind AS. Accounting standard which are called as ICAI, Indian GAAP. Right? So we have 2 sets of standard, accounting standard as well as Ind AS, and hence it is important to understand that on which entities AS is applicable and on which entities Ind AS is applicable, right? Yes, very good. So Megha has answered to decide what is to be applied in the preparation and presentation of financial statement. Absolutely right. Absolutely right, Megha. Okay. So moving further, friends, we'll cover 3 aspects in today's session: introduction to Ind AS, roadmap and applicability to various entities, and division 2 to schedule 3. These 3 aspects we are going to capture, we are going to cover in today's session for 3 hours. Okay. So students, if I talk about India's journey on accounting and reporting, okay, if I talk about what is applicable to India in terms of accounting and reporting, you all are CA final students. Okay. Eventually, you will become chartered accountant. You will be landed in your professional journey in the companies or in Big Four or in big CA firms. Okay, or you will start your own practice. In that case, you got some assignment either to audit or to prepare the financial statement. You know what happened? Then you need to understand what is applicable to your client. Okay, what is applicable? In that case, you need to understand what is there in India, what is there in our regulatory jurisdiction. So friends, we have accounting standard AS, and these accounting standards are notified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs under Companies AS Rules 2021. In your CA Inter, you have read accounting standard, AS. You have read AS. Okay. You have read AS in CA Inter. Okay. So friends, accounting standard is applicable to few set of entities to whom I will discuss that. Then we have Indian accounting standard also, Ind AS. Okay. These Ind AS were notified on 16 February 2015. Please write down. Ind AS were notified on 16 February 2015. 16 फरवरी 2015, 16 February 2015, wide companies Ind AS rules 2015. Okay. And again, these Indian accounting standards are also notified by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Okay. MCA under Companies Act. So we have two set of standard, accounting standard for corporate and Ind AS, which is also for corporate, right? But categorically, why I have written accounting standard for corporate? Because accounting standard are also applicable to non-corporate. Ind AS are not applicable to non-corporate. Can you tell me which are the non-corporate entities? Which entities are non-corporate entities? Which entities are non-corporate entities? Geet, which entities are non-corporate entities? Can you give me an example of non-corporate entities? Chitra, can you give me an example of non-corporate entities? Yes, partnership firms, LLP, okay? Non-profit organization, Hindu Undivided Family, proprietorship firm. Very good. Yes, very good. Ankit, Megha, Geet. Yes, trust. Thank you so much. So these are known as a non-corporate entity. So accounting standard are also applicable to non-corporate entity, but on non-corporate entity, accounting standard notified by MCA is not applicable. Accounting standard issued by ICAI is applicable. ICAI wale accounting standard. Okay. So friends, we have two set of accounting standard for corporate, one set of accounting standard for non-corporate. Corporate के लिए कौन से हैं? So you guys have to read the accounting standard for corporate. I mean to say only for companies. You guys have to understand for companies only. And on companies, few companies AS is applicable, few companies Ind AS is applicable. So we will cover in the roadmap for implementation of Ind AS, we will cover on which entities Ind AS are applicable. But as of now, you have understood that there are two set of standards in India, AS and Ind AS. AS कौन से, which AS, which you have read in CA Inter, which Ind AS, which you are going to read in CA Final, okay, which you are going to learn in CA Final, right? Very good. Yes. So moving further. So one of the participant is asking, Pitambar is asking, sir, if there is a non-profit organization which is incorporated like Section 8 companies, okay, under Companies Act, then will it be corporate, sir? Yes, it will be termed as a corporate, and if it meets some criteria, then Ind AS may be applicable to Section 8 companies. I will cover this concept when I will tell you roadmap for implementation of Ind AS. Okay. So friends, in India, we have three set of standards: Ind AS for companies, accounting standard for companies, and accounting standard for non-corporate entities. Likewise, friends, as far as presentation in the financial statement is concerned, Companies Act has given us Schedule 3. You know, what is the relevance of Schedule 3? What is the relevance of Schedule 3? Schedule 3 provides us the format of the financial statement. How to present your balance sheet. How to present your profit and loss. How to present your statement of changes in equity. Okay. How to prepare your cash flow. So what should be the disclosure in the notes to accounts? So who has given you these kind of format? These kind of format has been provided in Schedule 3. Schedule 3 is a schedule which is given under Companies Act 2013. So friends, in India, we have three kind of Schedule 3. Division 1 to Schedule 3, Division 2 to Schedule 3, and Division 3 to Schedule 3. Friends, Division 1 to Schedule 3. What is Division 1 to Schedule 3? Division 1 to Schedule 3 is applicable for companies, is applicable to the companies which are accounting standard compliant, on which accounting standards are applicable. As I told you that AS as well as Ind AS is applicable to the companies. So on those companies where accounting standard is applicable, on those companies where sorry, I was on mute. Yes. So friends, the companies which are applying accounting standard division 1 to schedule 3 is applicable, right? The format which is given in division 1 to schedule 3 is applicable. Okay. Companies on which Ind AS is applicable, there is a separate format which is given under division 2 to schedule 3. Okay. NBFC companies on which Ind AS is applicable, the format which is given in division 3 to schedule 3 is applicable, right? So friends, we have three kind of schedule 3, division 1, division 2, division 3. Division 1 is applicable to AS compliant companies. Division 2 is applicable to Ind AS compliant companies, and division 3 is applicable to NBFC companies on which Ind AS is applicable, right? So in our course today, we are going to cover division 2 to schedule 3, not division 1, not division 3. For you guys, division 2 is relevant. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? Yeah? Any doubts so far? I'm just setting the context. Okay? So Geet, Megha, and Chitra. Okay, great. So friends, be participative, interact more and more. This is how you will learn in the classes. Okay, this is a great opportunity which ICAI has given to all of you, and cascade this to your friends also in your firms, in your circle, that they should join these classes. These are absolutely free of cost, and you will learn from these classes like anything, because the faculties are not only academicians, the faculties belongs to industry and the real world as well. Okay, great. Let's move on. Let's move on. Now, let's understand why Ind AS. What is Ind AS? In India, when we have our accounting standard, then what is the relevance of bringing Ind AS? What is the relevance? Friends, let's talk about some global scenario. Let's talk globally and then we will land into India. Friends, can you see one picture on the screen? Who is Mike from France? This is me, Chi P from Hong Kong. The third one is Maurice from Kenya. The fourth one is Muko Ono from Japan. The fifth one is Max from Australia. And the last but not the least, Mr. Kejriwal from India. These 6 gentlemen are there. 6 gentlemen. Mr. Kejriwal from India. Okay. These 6 gentlemen went to attend a meeting in London. Okay. So they have to attend a meeting in London. And the problem was Mike from France only knows French language. Me Chipi only knows Chinese language. Maurice from Kenya knows Mandarin. Muko Ono knows Japanese. Max knows English and Mr. Kejriwal knows Hindi. These 6 gentlemen only knows their local language, only knows the regional language. They can write, they can converse, they can communicate, they can understand only in their regional language. Do you think that meeting will be fruitful? Do you think that meeting will be fruitful? Having said that, they only knows their regional language. They can understand their regional language. They can write in their regional language. They can communicate in their regional language. So guys, do you think that meeting will be fruitful? Priya and Megha is saying no, sir. Chitra is saying no, sir. Ankit is saying no, sir. Okay. Why this meeting will not be fruitful? What is the problem? What is the barrier here? What is the problem? What is the problem? The problem is language. Language is the problem. Yes. Common language is the problem. Because everybody does not know the common language. Everybody knows a different language. Now, what is the solution? What is the solution? So Geet has given a solution, that the solution is they need to Converse, they need to communicate in a standard language like English. If everybody can communicate in English, their life will become easy. Common communication language, which Megha is suggesting. So problem is language, and what is the solution? The solution is common language. The solution is common language. Right? Right? Friends, likewise, do you know how many countries are there in the world? Do you know how many countries are there in the world? Saurabh, are you aware? Manish, are you aware how many countries are there in the world? Any guess? Any guess? Can you please quote a number? Megha is so Geet is saying 195. Priya is saying again 195. You guys are doing chat GPT? Yeah. So Megha is also saying 195. There are almost 200 legal countries in the world. 200 legal countries in the world. Okay. And do you know how many reporting gaps are there in the world? Reporting gap, generally accepted accounting principles. US gap, UK gap, French gap, Canadian gap, Australian gap, Indian gap, Bangladeshi gap, Pakistani gap, Chinese gap. Do you know how many reporting gaps are there in the world? Reporting gap means there are various ways of accounting and reporting. There are different ways of accounting and reporting. Like Indian gap, UK gap, US gap, Canadian gap, French gap, African gap, Australian gap. Do you know how many reporting gaps are there in the world? Almost 100. There are almost 100 reporting gaps in the world. Now, Mike from France has to invest in the company of Mr. Max, who is in Australia. MeGP has to invest in the company of Mr. Kejriwal, who is in India. So friends, for investing in any company, what is the first document which you will ask? What is the first document which you will refer before taking a decision to invest in any company? You are absolutely right, Megha. It is financial statement. You are absolutely right, Chitra. It is the financial statement. Okay. Ankit, you are absolutely right. Financial statement. But friends, do you think that Mike will be able to understand the financial statement which are prepared under Australian GAAP? Whether MeGP will be able to understand the financial statement which is prepared under Indian GAAP? Yeah? Of course, no. Of course, no. Because Mike knows French GAAP and the financial statement have been prepared under Australian GAAP. MeGP knows Chinese GAAP, HKFRS, and the financial statement have been prepared under Indian GAAP. So friends, what is the problem here? Like earlier you told language is the problem. What is the problem here? What is the problem here? The problem is absolutely right, Rahul. The problem is reporting language. The problem is reporting language. The problem is accounting and reporting language. Okay. So what is the solution here? There are more than 100 gaps in the world. So what is the solution? Solution kya hai iska? What is the solution? The solution is absolutely right. Absolutely right. The solution is common reporting language. The solution is standard reporting language. Common reporting language, standard reporting language is the solution. This is the solution. Standard or common reporting language. Now the question comes, sir, what could be that common reporting language? What could be that acceptable common reporting language? Friends, whatever name I have taken for the gap, which is Chinese gap, US gap, UK gap, French gap, Australian gap, Indian gap, whatever name I have taken, what is common? What is the common word in all these names? What is the common word in all these names? What is common? Geet is saying gap word is common. Ankit is also saying the same thing. Megha is also saying the same thing. Chitra is also saying the same thing. So I'm asking this question since last 10 years. And doesn't matter, be it a CA final student, or be it a chartered accountant community, everybody is giving the same answer, sir. GAAP word is common. In all these words which you have taken, GAAP word is common. You know, you guys are professionals. 6 months or 1 year down the line, you will become chartered accountant. So think like a chartered accountant. Have you heard a concept of substance over form? Substance over form? जो दिखता है वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, जो सब्सटेंस है वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. Substance is important than form, right? So whatever name I have taken, don't you think in all these names the prefix is common? Prefix in all these names, the prefix is common. And what is the prefix? What is the prefix? Prefix is name of the country. Prefix is name of the jurisdiction. Do you agree with me or not? Indian GAAP, India. French GAAP, France. Australian GAAP, US GAAP, UK GAAP, Pakistani GAAP, Chinese GAAP, Japanese GAAP. In all these words, prefix is common. And what is the prefix? Name of the country, name of the jurisdiction. So friends, the problem was common reporting language was not there, right? The problem was different reporting language, and the solution was to have a common reporting language. Now the question is, which reporting language? Like in language, English is the common English is the common language, right? Now the question is, what should be the common reporting language? कौन सी reporting language common हो सकती है? In India, if somebody will tell you that you have to follow Chinese accounting standard, will you comfortable in following Chinese accounting standard? They were drafted for China. And Chinese jurisdiction is different than Indian jurisdiction. Will you comfortable? Answer is no. Then which accounting standard can be applicable? Which common reporting language can be adopted by the country? Friends, in all these gaps, these are country specific gap. There is one gap which is not country specific. And Geet has told me the name of that gap. And you know, what is the name of that gap? Can anyone tell me the name of that gap? IFRS. Chitra, in even US gap, US prefix is US. US gap is drafted for US. But in IFRS, Ankit, what is the full form of IFRS? Geet, what is the full form of IFRS? You know, the full form of IFRS is, Megha is saying International Financial Reporting Standard. Geet is also saying International Financial Reporting Standard. Chitra is also saying the same thing. Ankit is also saying the same thing. So everybody is saying, sir, International Financial Reporting Standard. You know, what is my definition? What is my full form of International Financial Reporting Standard? It is intention for reading standard. It is intention for reading standard. Will you agree or disagree with me? It is intention for reading standards. Will you agree or agree to disagree? So friends, when students ask me, sir, we even don't know accounting standard in detail. We have read accounting standard in CA Inter, but we have managed to pass the exam. Sir, these are the international standard. How will we be able to learn international standard? Then I used to tell them, the name of IFRS itself says that intention for reading standard. If you have the intention for reading standard, then nothing is complex. It's quite simple. It's quite easy. But my dear friends, this is Alok Garg definition of IFRS. But the formal definition of IFRS is exactly same what you guys are telling me. It's International Financial Reporting Standard. Have you found any name of the country, continent, jurisdiction in the full form of IFRS? Have you found any name of the country? No. International. It's international. There is no country name. There is no jurisdiction name. So friends, IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, are unbiased standard, non-country specific, no jurisdiction specific standard, which are developed by, which are issued by International Accounting Standard Board. Friends, please write down. IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, are global standard, international standards, which are no jurisdiction specific, no country specific, and which are issued by International Accounting Standard Board, IASB. I will talk more about that. Okay, right? So friends, that is why this IFRS, because these are the non-biased standard, no country specific standard, and hence these standards are, how many countries are applying this standard? Out of 200 countries, 160 countries are applying this standard. 160 countries are applying these IFRS standard, right? They are using IFRS. How a country can use IFRS, I'll discuss that. Okay. And friends, do you know more than 50% of the global economy, the entire GDP of the world is $110 trillion. आपको पता है GDP size क्या है पूरे वर्ल्ड का? Almost $110 trillion. And more than $60 trillion GDP is preparing their financial statement as per IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard. They're using IFRS, okay? And what is the solution? The solution is to have a common reporting language. And which reporting language? Which is International Financial Reporting Standard, right? Okay. So countries are using International Financial Reporting Standard. How a country can use International Financial Reporting Standard, we will discuss that. Okay. But have you understood the meaning of IFRS? Have you understood why IFRS getting a popularity? Right? Have you understood the intent? Have you understood the objective? And friends, in India, in 2009, our former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, he went to attend a G20 meeting, and there Mr. Manmohan Singh told that our accounting and reporting system will be at par with the global accounting and reporting system. And there he committed that in India, we will also bring IFRS. We will also bring IFRS in India. He has committed in G20 meeting in 2009. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear, my dear friends? So friends, globally, there are two set of standard: International Financial Reporting Standards, okay, and interpretation issued by IASB, okay, International Accounting Standard Board. So as of now, we have 16 IFRS which are issued and effective by International Accounting Standard Board. How many standards we have globally? 16 IFRS. This is just for your knowledge, okay, just for your knowledge. So how many accounting standards we have globally? Globally, we have 16 IFRS, 16 International Financial Reporting Standard. And we also have 24 International Accounting Standard, right? So friends, prior to 2001, whatever standard which were issued by International Accounting Standard Board, I mean to say this global body, whatever accounting standard has been issued up to 2001, these accounting standard were nomenclated as IAS, International Accounting Standard. So मेरे जितने भी global standard हैं, जो भी 2001 तक issue हुए हैं, उनका नाम क्या है? What is the name? What is the name of the standard which have been issued prior to 2001? Which the name is, you're right, Ankit, you're right, Megha, the name is IAS, International Accounting Standard. And what is the name? What is the nomenclature which is used for the standard which are issued after 2001? Yes, it is IFRS. It is IFRS. So IFRS and IAS is the same thing. The only difference is IAS is used for those standards which are issued before 2001, and IFRS is used for those standards which are issued after 2001, right? And then there are some interpretations, IFRIC interpretations and SIC interpretation. What is the full form of IFRIC interpretation? IFRIC full form is International Financial Reporting Interpretation Committee's interpretation. Okay. International Financial Reporting Interpretation Committee's interpretation. Okay. What is SIC interpretation? Standing Interpretation Committee interpretation. Standing Interpretation Committee. SIC stands for Standing Interpretation Committee. So these were the two bodies. SIC was supporting IAS. SIC was for IAS standards, right? When prior to 2001, the name of the interpretation was SIC. After 2001, the interpretation which were issuing The interpretation which were issued after 2001 is nomenclated as IFRIC interpretation. So as of now, we have 16 IFRS globally, 16 standard, 24 international accounting standard globally, 15 IFRIC interpretation, and 5 SIC interpretation. So this is the entire universe of global standard, IFRS standards. Okay. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? How many accounting standards we have? Do you know how many accounting standards we have? AS? Do you know how many AS we have? Like I told you, there are 40 global standards. There are 16 IFRS standard, 24 IS standard. Very good, Chitra. There are 27 accounting standard. While it is AS1 to AS29, so Guru Ram, there is AS1 to AS29, but AS6 and AS8 is not there. So Mukharia Rajesh, you are absolutely right. There are 27 accounting standards, right? So likewise, we have 40 global standard, IFRS and IAS. But the set is known as IFRS only. IFRS includes IAS. Okay. Clear? So friends, you remember I have used the word that more than 160 countries are using IFRS. You remember that part? I have used the word more than 160 countries are using IFRS. Yes. You know how a country will use IFRS? How a country will use IFRS? There are two methods of using IFRS: adoption and convergence. What is meant by adoption? What is meant by adoption? Adoption means as it is. Taking others' baby as your baby. As simple as that. As it is. As it is. Right? So adoption of IFRS in simple terms means that the country applying IFRS would be implementing IFRS in the same manner as issued by International Accounting Standard Board and would be 100% compliant with the guideline issued by International Accounting Standard Board. Right? And IFRS includes IAS also. Okay. So friends, adoption of IFRS means as it is. As it is. Like Europe. Which country has adopted IFRS? Europe has adopted IFRS. Entire Europe has adopted IFRS for their big listed companies. And that is why when you read the financial statement of HSBC Holdings PLC, you will find when you go to the basis of preparation paragraph, you know what they write? They write that the financial statement of HSBC Holding PLC, it's a European company. Their head office is in London. They write that the financial statement of HSBC Holdings PLC has been prepared as per International Financial Reporting Standard issued by International Accounting Standard Board and as adopted by European Union and European Financial Reporting Advisory Group. तो क्या लिखते हैं? वो लिखते हैं कि हमने अपने फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट कैसे बनाए हैं? We have prepared our financial statement as per IFRS. Which IFRS? The IFRS which is issued by International Accounting Standard Board and adopted by European Union, adopted by Europe. Is that clear? Is that clear? Clear है ये? समझ आ गया? Adoption is very simple. Yes. Friends, are you enjoying the session? This is very informative kind of a class, right? Where I'm setting the context. If somebody will ask you, what is IFRS? You should be aware of. IFRS are International Financial Reporting Standard. It also includes International Accounting Standard, right? There are 40 standard, 16 IFRS, 24 IAS. Then somebody will ask you why there are two different names for the global standard. Then you should say all the standard which are issued up to 2001, they are nomenclated as International Accounting Standard. The standard which are issued after 2001, they will be nomenclated as International Financial Reporting Standard. Okay. They are nomenclated as IFRS. Okay. And why IFRS is relevant? Because out of almost 200 countries, 160 countries are using IFRS. How a country can use IFRS? There are two methods of using IFRS. One is adoption. Another one is convergence. Sir, adoption we have understood. What is meant by convergence? कन्वर्जेंस का मतलब क्या है? एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोमिनेंट रूट of this is one of the most prominent route of using IFRS. What is meant by convergence? You know what we did in India? Who is drafting accounting standard? Who is drafting Ind AS? Who is drafting these standards in India? कौन ड्राफ्ट करता है, कौन बनाता है इन स्टैंडर्ड को? Who is drafting? So Geet, you are absolutely right, and I am amazed. I am amazed to hear the word ASB, Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. Very good. Right. So drafting is done by Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. And who is approving this standard in India? Who is the authority for approving standard in India? Who is? So Geet is saying NAFRA, Megha is saying NAFRA. You guys are so scared about NAFRA, right? Chitra is saying MCA. You're absolutely right. Friends, NAFRA is reviewing, NAFRA is recommending, NAFRA is reviewing those accounting standards, right? Which is drafted by ICAI and giving their comments. But who is the authority? NAFRA is not the authority for approval of accounting standard or Ind AS. Ministry of Corporate Affairs, MCA is the authority. MCA is approving, notifying those standards. And when the standards get notified, it becomes law of the land, right? Okay. So friends, in India, we have not adopted IFRS. Why? Because our economy is a developing economy. And we told that we cannot apply IFRS as it is. We applied IFRS with some tweak and twins. Some tweaks. We have applied IFRS with some tweaks. And what are those tweaks? Let me tell you. You know what we did? Our accounting standard board, chairman of the accounting standard board, called the chairman of International Accounting Standard Board in London. And you know what we demanded? We demanded the word file of IFRS standards. Word file of IFRS, which includes IAS standard. Why we have demanded word file? Why? Why we asked for word file? Can anyone tell me? So that we can edit it. You are absolutely right, Geet. And I must say, with my last 35 minutes of the session, that you guys are very interactive, very participative. Great. Keep this momentum going on. Great. Yes. So why we have asked for the word file? So that we can edit it. Mr. Manmohan Singh, when he committed that our India's accounting and reporting system will be in line with the global accounting and reporting system. So we have think about applying IFRS in our country. So we send those IFRS standard to, and for the sake of, taking an input from RBI, from IRDA, FICCI, CII, SOCAM, industry bodies, ICSI, ICWAI. So we sent to various authorities, right? And then we found that we need to make some changes in those IFRS standards, some changes, so that it can be applicable to India, because we are the fourth largest economy of the world. We are not the small country. And the next part, that we had our own accounting standard as well. We had our own accounting standard as well, right? So friends, that is why we decided not to adopt, but we decided to converge IFRS standard into some other standard, which is known as Ind AS. Friends, whenever you are making a changes in IFRS standard, as per the copyright, you cannot call it as a IFRS. Like Pakistan is calling it IFRS. Why? Because Pakistan has not made any changes. They have adopted IFRS as it is. Why Europe is calling IFRS? Because Europe has not made any changes. They have adopted IFRS as it is. Why Middle East, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, Sharjah? Why Dubai entity like Emirates? Emirates is preparing their financial statement as per IFRS. Why Emirates is calling it as a IFRS? Because Middle East countries have adopted IFRS as it is, right? But what about India? What about Singapore? What about Malaysia? What about Hong Kong? What about Bhutan? These countries have converged IFRS. These countries have converged IFRS means they have changed some bit in IFRS. Like in India also, we have made some limited changes in IFRS, and that is why when we made changes, we cannot call it as a IFRS. Then what we called? What we have called? We have called those standard not as a IFRS. We have nomenclated those standard as Indian accounting standard, Ind AS. Our accounting standard is also India ka accounting standard, right? But since we already had our accounting standard, we call it as a Indian accounting standard, Ind AS, right? So what is Ind AS? Ind AS are the converged version of IFRS applicable to India. Ind AS are the converged version of IFRS applicable to India. Ind AS are the Indianized version of IFRS applicable to India. If somebody will ask you that, for example, Mr. Pitambar. So, dear Pitambar, the objective was to align India's accounting and reporting standard with the global accounting and reporting standard so that our financial statement can be understood by the 160 countries people. But we have not adopted IFRS, we have converged IFRS, right? And we have adopted Ind AS. Then what was the benefit of adopting Ind AS? So friends, you know, when I'm talking about convergence, when I'm talking about editing, this editing is not 100% editing. This editing is, you know, at a very limited places. Our Ind AS are 99.5% cut copy paste of IFRS. Our Ind AS are 99.5%. What is the percentage I'm talking about? What is the percentage I'm talking about? 99.5%. And what is the rounding off of 99.5%? Rajesh, what is the rounding off of 99.5%? 100%. तो हमने भी अपने जो इंड एस अडॉप्ट किए वो हमने इतने परसेंट की जितने कीटाणु डिटॉल मारता है. हाउ मच परसेंटेज ऑफ वायरस इज किल्ड बाय डिटॉल? 99.99%, right? And our Indian accounting standard are 99.5% cut copy paste of IFRS. 99.5%. So the changes are only at limited places. And let me give you a real life example of Ind AS and IFRS. In 2019, I had traveled to Dubai for taking session on IFRS standard in 2019. So I was called in Dubai, and in Dubai, Ind AS are not relevant for Dubai. In Dubai, IFRS is relevant, right? Ind AS are India's standard. So I boarded my flight for Dubai, and my agenda was to speak on 3 international accounting standards. IAS 41 on agriculture, IAS 21 on the foreign exchange, and IAS 24 on the related party disclosures. 3 standards I need to talk about. But I had the presentation on Ind AS. I didn't have the presentation on IFRS. I have the presentation on Ind AS. You know what I did? I started with Ind AS 41, which is agriculture standard. Just hear this real life experience. What I did, you know, for Ind AS 41, I had to convert this into IAS 41. So what I did, I removed the word ND. वो स्लाइड कौन सी थी? उस स्लाइड का नाम था, वो प्रेजेंटेशन का नाम था Ind AS 41. The name of that presentation was Ind AS 41. You know what I did? I removed the word ND. It became IAS 41. And there is no difference between Ind AS 41 and IAS 41 from the standard perspective. There is no difference. मैंने क्या किया? सिर्फ इंड में से इंड में से ND काट दिया. It become IAS 41. So my presentation to speak on the global standard on agriculture was ready in just 2 minutes. Have you got the magic? Have you got the magic? In 2 minutes, I was ready to speak on IFRS standard. Then I open my presentation on Ind AS 24 related party disclosure. I removed the word ND and I have just done a small change. My presentation on IAS 24 was ready in just 3 minutes. Then what I did, I opened my presentation on Ind AS 21, Ind AS 21 foreign exchange standard. I remove the word ND, it becomes IAS 21, and then I have done two changes. I was aware that at two places there is a difference between Ind AS 21 and IAS 21. I have done two changes. Okay. And friends, I have done two changes, and that's how my presentation in just 10 minutes, my presentation on IAS 21 was ready. So in 15 minutes, since I had the presentation, I had the knowledge on Indian accounting standard, I was ready in 15 minutes to speak on three global standards, three IFRS standards. Have you seen the magic? Yes or no? So this is the benefit of aligning, this is the benefit of applying the common language, आप दूसरी कंट्री में जाते हो, आप इंग्लिश बोलते हो, you speak in English, right? Even though you speak in tutti frutti English, you speak in broken English, still your job is over, right? At least you managed to communicate, correct? So in September last year, I was called in Singapore. In Singapore, SGFRS is applicable, Singapore Financial Reporting Standard. And what is SGFRS? SGFRS is the converged version of IFRS applicable to Singapore. I had to speak on Singapore Financial Reporting Standard. You know what I did? I found out on Google what is the difference between SGFRS and IFRS. The difference between SGFRS and IFRS. And there was only one difference. And I know that difference between Ind AS and IFRS. So what I did, I have converted my Ind AS presentation into Singapore Financial Reporting Standard presentation in just half an hour. So in 1 hour effort, I was able to know about Singapore Financial Reporting Standards. क्योंकि हमारे Ind AS 99.5% cut copy paste of IFRS है. So our Ind AS is just like IFRS. Singapore Financial Reporting Standard is just like IFRS. So I have found that what is the difference between SGFRS and IFRS? There is hardly a difference. So मुझे करना क्या था? Ind AS को काट के SGFRS करना था. So can you imagine this? The beauty of aligning with the global standard, right? You just need to put a little effort and you are able to know about that country's reporting gap. Yes or no? Do you found it meaningful or not? Yes? Then in December this year only, I called in Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur is Malaysia. And I had to speak on MFRS, Malaysian Financial Reporting Standard, MFRS. And what is MFRS? MFRS are the converged version of IFRS applicable to Malaysia. Okay. So what I did? Again, I found out what is the difference between MFRS and IFRS. Okay. And then when I found there is only one difference between MFRS and IFRS, I converted and I know what is the difference between Ind AS and IFRS. So I converted my Ind AS presentation into MFRS presentation, right? And in 15 minutes, I have just converted my Ind AS presentation into MFRS, and I was ready to speak in Malaysia on Malaysian Financial Reporting Standard. Sojo, think about, this is the beauty of aligning, this is the beauty of adopting, this is the beauty of going with the global accounting standard. You are speaking in the same language, your accent could be different, right? Probably your choice of word could be different, your accent could be different, the way you are communicating is different, but everybody is communicating the same thing. Okay, everybody is saying the same accounting treatment. This is the beauty of applying international financial reporting standard. Are you able to appreciate this adoption, convergence? Are you able to appreciate this or not? Yeah. Yes. And friends, happy and proud to share that, in India, we have developed the accounting standard for Bhutan. And in Bhutan, there is a BFRS, Bhutanese Financial Reporting Standard, which is converged version of IFRS applicable to Bhutan. And in 2016, I have reviewed those Bhutanese financial reporting standard. Right. So happy to share that. So friends, this is the beauty of IFRS. I hope you guys are able to understand. And whenever I called and whenever I was invited into different countries to speak on IFRS like Dubai, then life is very simple because I know the difference between Ind AS and IFRS. Right? There is hardly 0.5% of difference in the total 39 Indian accounting standard. Okay. So now, what is the difference between Ind AS and IFRS? The difference we have called in three parts. There are three differences: carve out, carve in, and removal of option. Carve out, carve in, and removal of option. Okay. What is meant by carve out? What is meant by carve in? And what is meant by removal of option? Let me share that. Please confirm if my Excel file is visible. Please confirm if my Excel file is visible. Whether my Excel file is visible to all of you? Is it visible to all of you? Yes. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Friends, carve out, the first class of difference. What is meant by carve out? Carve out means applying a different treatment in Indian accounting standard. Right? So friends, and I will take one example. There are almost 10 carve out. At the 10 places, we have applied a different accounting treatment. Okay. So there are almost 10 carve out. 10 carve out. Okay. I'll just tell you in this session, in today's class, I will give you one example of carve out, carve in, and removal of option so that you will be able to understand this class of carve outs, this class of differences. So carve out means applying a different accounting treatment in comparison to IFRS. Friends, there is a standard in IAS, International Accounting Standard, IAS 1 and IAS 10. IAS 1 talks about presentation of financial statement. IAS 10 talks about events occurring after reporting date. Like in India, we have Ind AS 1 and Ind AS 10. In Ind AS 1, we will cover Ind AS 1 in the next class. Ind AS 1 is presentation of financial statement and Ind AS 10 is events occurring after balance sheet date. Okay. So friends, in these two standards, at one place we have applied a different accounting treatment. And what is that? Let me tell you. Friends, I will explain this particular carve out with the help of an example. In IFRS, for example, the reporting date is 31st March 22. The reporting date is 31st March 22. Let's take it 31st March 25. Okay. 31st March 25. And the company has taken a loan on 1st January 25 for a period of 5 years. Okay. The entire loan is repayable in one go after 5 years. After 5 years. In one go after 5 years. Friends, tell me, what is the classification? What is the classification of this loan in IFRS or Ind AS? What is the classification? Current or non-current? क्या classification होगी 31st March 25 पे? What is the classification of this loan on 31st March 2025? What is the classification? 31st March 2025. क्या classification होगी बताओ? Non-current, long-term. Long-term होगी ना, it's a non-current liability. It's a non-current liability. Very good. Non-current liability. Right? In IFRS and Ind AS both, it will be a non-current liability. Now, what happened on the reporting date? The company has made a violation of loan covenants, and due to this violation, loan become repayable on demand. Loan covenants means, so Ritika, loan covenants means loan terms and conditions. Terms and condition of the loan, right? So the company has made some violation, like, when you take a loan from the bank, there are some condition attached to it. For example, you have to use the loan for the same purpose for which you have taken the loan. आपके कारों में एक ये पॉइंट आता भी है, whether the term loans have been applied for the same purpose for which it has been taken, right? आपके उसमें आता है ना ये पॉइंट लोन का. सो फ्रेंड्स, जैसे आप लोन लेते हो तो बैंक आस्क योर फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट, डेटर स्टेटमेंट, क्रेडिटर स्टेटमेंट. सो देयर आर सो मेनी कंडीशन ऑफ द लोन. So this company has violated some terms and condition, and that is why this loan become repayable on demand on the reporting date. While the feature was the basic condition, the basic feature of this loan was this was a long-term liability, non-current loan. It was taken for 5 years, but due to this violation, this loan become repayable on demand on the balance sheet date. Now tell me, what should be the revised classification of this loan? What should be the revised classification of this loan in IFRS or Ind AS? Current. Very good. It should be current. It should be current liability. It should be current liability, right? क्योंकि अब ये repayable on demand है, तो ये current liability हो गई. Okay? Yes. Now let me give you more information. So we understood for the reporting date, we understood. Now friends, what happened? The financial statement are going to be approved or adopted in the board meeting scheduled on 15th May 2025. Okay. So you understand that all these financial statement for all the companies, the balance sheet prepared for 31st March, the financial statement prepared for 31st March, but whether those financial statement approved on 31st March? Answer is no, because क्या होता है? First, you prepare the financial statement, then it is getting audited. The auditor will take some time, and then these financial statements are approved in the board meeting, adopted in the board meeting. Once it is approved or adopted in the board meeting, then only the financial results can be published for listed companies. Or for unlisted companies, of course, it has to be filed with MCA, right? Before that, the results cannot be published. Okay. So that is why there is a concept of events occurring after balance sheet date, right? What is events occurring after balance sheet date? The events which occur after the balance sheet date, which is 31st March, and up to the approval of the financial statement. This intervening period is known as a events occurring after balance sheet date period. Correct? Right? ये आप लोगों को पता है ना? Yes, गीत, एडजस्टिंग इवेंट, नॉन एडजस्टिंग इवेंट, ये सब आप लोगों ने सुना है ना? ये सुना सुना लग रहा है, सुना सुना लग रहा है. Is it something which is heard or is it something which is blank? Is it heard or is it blank? Heard. Very good. Very good. Yes. So the financial statement are going to be approved or adopted in the board meeting scheduled on 15th May 2025. In the month of April, the management spoke to the bank. The management talked with the bank. Management ने बैंक से बात की. The management talked with the bank, and bank agreed to waive the violation and will not demand the payment immediately and will go by the old terms. And will not demand the payment immediately and will go by the old terms. कंपनी ने बैंक से बात की अप्रैल के महीने में, एंड बैंक अग्री हो गया, ओके, आई विल नॉट डिमांड द पेमेंट राइट नाउ एंड यू कैन डू द पेमेंट एज पर द ओल्ड टर्म्स, मींस आफ्टर 5 years. So on 31st March, this was repayable on demand. Subsequently, before approval of the financial statement, subsequently in the month of April, the management spoke to the bank and bank agreed not to demand the payment. Now my question to all of you is, what should be the nature of this liability on 31st March 25? So I have given you the facts. Earlier it was non-current. When it become repayable on demand on 31st March, it becomes current. And then as per the subsequent events, now this company is not going to pay this money immediately. This company has to pay after 5 years. So before approval of the financial statement, it was clear that the company is not required to pay right now. So as per your wisdom, according to you, what should be the appropriate classification of this loan in the balance sheet? Should it be adjusting event? Should it be non-adjusting event? So Chitra is saying it has to be non-current. What about others? At least you guys need to respond. Doesn't matter right or wrong. I am there to make you right. If you will wrong here, you will not be wrong in the examination hall, right? It's good to be wrong here. यहां गलत होना अच्छा है, यहां गलत जवाब देना अच्छा है, एग्जाम में गलती मत करना. Okay. So Manish is also saying, sir, it should be treated as an adjusting event and it should be non-current. Ankit is also saying, sir, please treat this event as an adjusting event. Megha is saying current, sir. Okay, Megha is giving a different answer. Rajesh is saying this should be adjusting event. Prithvi Raj is saying non-current because statement can be changed till the approval. Okay. Priya is also saying, sir, it should be non-current, and I will go with the majority. I will go with the majority. Friends, in IFRS is very stringent. In IFRS says that this event should be non-adjusting event. This event should be treated as a non-adjusting event, and we will show this liability as a current liability. We will show this liability as a current liability. But in Ind AS, we said no. Our country is a developing country. We will treat this event. Our financial statement have not been published as of now. It has not been approved as of now, right? And the original nature of this loan was long-term, non-current. Okay. And before approval of the financial statement, we have also talked with the bank. And so when we took the loan, it was non-current, and as of now, at the time of approval of the financial statement, it is also long-term. It is also non-current. So we will treat this event as an adjusting event, and we will continue to show this loan as a non-current loan. This is the change which we have taken. This is the change which we have taken, and there is a difference in the accounting treatment, and hence it is called as a carve-out. Hence it is called as a carve-out. So my dear friends, in IFRS, if there is a default on the date of the balance sheet, doesn't matter if the default made good before approval of the financial statement, it will be treated as a non-adjusting event. But in Ind AS, we said that in India there is a lot of terms and condition when you go to take a loan, and hence we will classify these event as an adjusting event, and we will take the cognizance of the event which has happened after balance sheet date, and we will continue to show this loan as a non-current liability, right? So making sense also? This is in line with what all of you were saying? Making sense also, yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah? Have you understood the meaning of carve out? Have you understood the meaning of carve outs, sir? How many carve outs are there? There are almost 10 carve outs. Means in all the 39 Indian accounting standard, like we have 27 accounting standard, we have 39 Indian accounting standard. In all these 39 Indian accounting standard, at 10 places, we have applied a different accounting treatment in comparison to IFRS, and hence it is called as carve out. I believe the word carve out is clear to all of you guys. The word carve out is clear to all of you, my dear friends. Is that clear? Great, absolutely right. Then, friends, the second class of difference is carve in. What is meant by carve in? Carve in, carve out का मतलब हटाया, change किया. What is meant by carve in? Carve in means putting some additional guidance. Carve in means putting some additional guidance. Okay. So Megha is asking, sir, in this case, are we required to disclose regarding the loan becoming repayable on demand? Yes, Megha. Only disclosure is required in the notes to accounts, but in the balance sheet, the nature will be non-current liability. Okay. But in the balance sheet, but in the notes to accounts, when you explain the note relating to the borrowings, there you need to explain that. Okay. Very good. Yes. So friends, carve-in means putting some additional guidance in Ind AS. For example, in IFRS, there was less clarity. But in Ind AS, we have given some clarity. We have included some more guidance. Friends, there is only one carve-in. There is only one place where we have inserted one appendix, where we have inserted some additional guidance. And what is that? Friends, one of the standard is business combination standard. Have you have you heard about this standard, business combination? Have you heard about business combination standard? Yeah. Have you heard about business combination standard, my dear friends? Yes, business combination standard. IFRS 3 Ind AS 103. Okay. Ind AS 103. This standard, you will read this Ind AS 103 at the time of consolidation. And this standard is business combination. This is a sibling. This is a counterpart of AS 14, accounting standard 14. You must have heard about accounting standard 14, right? Accounting for amalgamation. This is Ind AS 103, which also deals with accounting for merger and acquisition, accounting for amalgamations. Okay. And the name is business combination. Friends, in IFRS, it is IFRS 3. In Ind AS, it is Ind AS 103. Right. So, friends, like in India, in our accounting standard, when you are doing accounting for amalgamation, there is a book value method which was allowed, right? So book value method and fair value method both were allowed. It was optional in accounting standard 14. In IFRS says that whenever a company is acquiring another company, then accounting needs to happen. Then accounting needs to be done on the basis of fair value framework. Then accounting needs to be done on the basis of fair value framework. Okay. What is the fair value framework? What is the fair value framework? Means, for example, if Reliance is acquiring, Adani is acquiring NDTV, okay, then all the assets and liabilities of NDTV has to be merged on the basis of fair value. Jio Hotstar, when Jio is acquiring Hotstar, then all the net assets of the Hotstar has to be recognized at fair value. I'm not teaching you Ind AS 103 right now. I'm just giving you a concept. तो concept क्या है? IFRS 3 talks about fair value. We said okay. In Ind AS 103, we have said that okay, we will also apply fair value, right? But we told that in case of common control transaction, what is a common control transaction? Group company acquisition. For example, if a parent is acquiring its own subsidiary merge हो गई parent में, तो पहले भी कंट्रोल पेरेंट का था और मर्ज होने के बाद उन एसेट्स एंड लाइबिलिटीज पे कंट्रोल किसका आएगा? पेरेंट का ही आएगा, राइट? फॉर एग्जांपल so there is a group entity acquisition. So the group, one of the subsidiary has acquired another subsidiary. So the parent was controlling earlier and the parent was controlling subsequently also. This is the meaning of common control transaction. So we told that in case of, we will apply fair value method as prescribed by IFRS, but in case of common control transaction, we will continue to apply pooling of interest method, book value method. What is a common control transaction? For example, A Limited is a parent of B Limited. A Limited is also a parent of C Limited. A Limited की कौन सी दो सब्सिडरी हैं? मेगा. Which are the two subsidiaries of A Limited? Which are the two subsidiaries of A Limited? B and C. Right? And D Limited is a subsidiary of C Limited. You're right, Megha. D Limited is the subsidiary of C Limited. So this B and C are the son. B and C are the child of A Limited. And D Limited is the subsidiary of C Limited. So what is the relation between A and D? A become grandfather and D is the grandson, grandchild, right? Step subsidiary. So B Limited acquired D Limited. So earlier, who was the father of D Limited? C Limited was the father of D Limited. Now who becomes the father of D Limited? B Limited will become the father of D Limited, right? पहले वो डी सी की सब्सिडरी थी, अब वो किसकी सब्सिडरी बन गई? बी की सब्सिडरी बन गई. सो टेल मी, इन दिस ट्रांजैक्शन father had changed, but whether grandfather had changed? Earlier, when D was the subsidiary of C, A was the grandfather. But now when D become the subsidiary of B, still A is the grandfather. So grandfather is same. So father had changed, but grandfather has not changed. So this is the meaning of common control transaction. This is the meaning of common control transaction. Okay. This is the meaning of common control transaction, right? So friends, what additional guidance we have inserted? We have inserted an additional guidance, and we have told that for in case of a common control acquisition, we will apply book value method. We will apply pooling of interest method, right? Prithvi Raj is asking, sir, isn't D Limited is the subsidiary of A Limited directly? No. D Limited is the step subsidiary of A Limited. D Limited is the direct subsidiary of C Limited. Okay, is that clear? Is that clear, Prithviraj? Geet, Ankit, is that clear? Okay, so friends, this is the additional guidance which we have provided. We said that we will apply the same standard which you have talked about. We will apply the fair value method, but only in case of common control transaction, common control acquisition, we will apply book value method, which is pooling of interest method, right? So have you understood the carve out, carve in, and removal of option? What is meant by removal of option? The third class of difference. The third difference, right? Third class nahi, third class, third item, okay? Students are reading this as a third class, not third class, third type. IAS 1, friends, again, in IAS 1, there is a standard called International Accounting Standard 1, which talks about presentation of financial statement. In India, we have Ind AS 1 on the presentation of financial statement. Friends, in profit and loss account, IFRS says that the expense can be classified by either function method or by nature method. The expense can be classified in the profit and loss either by function method or by nature method. Okay. So IFRS gives you two choices for classification, for presentation of your expenses in the profit and loss account. And what are those two choices? Function method or nature method. There are two choices, there are two options. But in Ind AS, we have deleted this function choice. We have deleted this function classification. We told that in Ind AS, we told that the expense has to be classified by nature method. So what we did, there were two options, we remove one option. This is known as a removal of option. This is known as a removal of option. We have removed one option. This is known as a removal of option. Sir, what is meant by function classification or what is meant by nature-based classification? Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Friends, for example, function-based classification, nature-based classification, let me explain. The company has a factory building and the company has an office building. In office building, administrative work is going on. In the factory building, what happens in the factory building? Production is going on, right? So there is a depreciation of 100 lakhs on the office building. There is a depreciation of 200 lakhs on the factory building. Okay. So friends, where you used to show this depreciation? आप इस depreciation को कहां दिखाते हो? Where you used to show this depreciation? कहां दिखाते हो आप? P&L as a what line item? As a which line item? Depreciation expenses, depreciation and amortization, depreciation expenses यही दिखाते हो ना? Yes, you're right, Megha. You're right, Geet. Depreciation expenses. So we are showing, doesn't matter, it is depreciation on office building or depreciation on factory building. Where we are showing this as a depreciation. We are showing this as a depreciation. This is known as a nature-based classification. Doesn't matter what is the nature, what is the type of the asset. If it is a depreciation, it is one activity. If it is a depreciation, it has to be shown as a depreciation expense. But what is the functional classification? Like depreciation on office has to be shown as an office overhead. Depreciation on factory has to be shown as a factory overheads. Okay. So this is the functional classification. So friends, in India, we had accounting standards. We have our schedule 3. And in accounting standard in schedule 3, only nature based classification is permitted, so that in terms of presentation we should not have a dual choices, we should not have a dual presentation. So we have removed the option of functional classification, because our schedule 3 also talks about nature based classification. So we have removed the option of functional classification. Is that right? Is that clear? Removal of option is clear to all of you? Is it clear or clear? Is it clear in mind or is it clear from mind? Is it clear in mind or clear from mind? CIM or CFM? Clear in mind? Very good. Thank you. Yes. So friends, now I am moving back to my presentation. So what is the difference between IFRS and Ind AS? The difference is carve out, carve in, and removal of options, right? These are the three class of difference, and friends, there are very limited difference. There are only 10 carve out, 1 carve in, and there are hardly 2 to 3 removal of options. 3 removal of options. That's all. These are the differences between IFRS and Ind AS. Otherwise, IFRS and Ind AS are one and the same thing. After qualifying a chartered accountant, if you are well versed with international Indian accounting standard, you are good to work in 160 countries on this planet, right? In the controllership vertical, in the financial reporting vertical, in the finance and accounts vertical, in the field of accounting, reporting, due diligence, etc., right? Because you understand the financial statement very well of 160 countries on this planet. Doesn't matter नाम जो भी हो, पर आप उसको समझ पाओगे थोड़ी सी मेहनत करके, right? So Prithviraj is asking, sir, how many removal of options are there? Prithviraj, there are 3 removal of options, right? There are 3 removal of options, okay? Friends, what India has done, India has converged to IFRS. India had converged to IFRS, right? What we have done, we have converged to IFRS. That is why we call it as a Ind AS. So between IFRS and Ind AS, what is the difference? Carve out, carve in, and removal of option. I hope you understood it very well. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, great. Great, my dear friends. So where are we moving, my dear friends? हम किस तरफ जा रहे हैं? We are moving from AS to Ind AS. We are moving towards global approach rather than only Indian approach. We are moving towards global approach in comparison to Indian approach, right? Fair value versus historical cost. My dear friends, in IFRS, in Ind AS, I will use this word interchangeably, right? Don't get confused. When I use IFRS, Ind AS, it is one and the same thing, okay? Fair value versus historical cost. My dear friends, there are more than 25% standard which talks about fair value application in comparison to accounting standard, okay? So friends, there is one standard you will read, Ind AS 113, IFRS 13, Ind AS 113. This standard specifically talks about fair value measurement. This standard specifically talks about fair value measurement, okay? Reporting versus accounting. My dear friends, the name is International Financial Reporting Standard. More than accounting, it also talks about reporting, right? And let me tell you, if the thickness of the financial statement under accounting standard is, let's say, 30 pages, it becomes 50 pages in Ind AS and IFRS. Why? How come it become 30 to 50 pages? Tell me. For the same company, if you are preparing the financial statement under accounting standard, it will be 30 pages. But for the same company, same financial year, if you prepare the financial statement under Ind AS or IFRS, it will be 50 pages financial statement. Where is the big change? You are absolutely right, Geet. It is due to additional disclosure. Balance sheet will be 1 page. In accounting standard, in Ind AS and IFRS, balance sheet will be 1 page. P&L will be 1 page. Statement of changes in equity will be 1 page. Right? Cash flow will be 1 page. Notes to accounts is the main area where it will get thicker. Right? Why? Because there are huge disclosures required in Ind AS and IFRS. Right? Substance over form. While the concept of substance over form was there in our accounting standard also, but वो कहने के लिए ही था. But in Ind AS, This substance over form is beautifully ingradiated in Ind AS. When you read revenue standard, I will teach you Ind AS 115 revenue standard, and you will found that revenue standard has been drafted on the basis of the concept of substance over form. I will teach you Ind AS 116 leases, very detailed and important standard. You will found the lease standard have been drafted on the principle of substance over form. On the principle of substance over form, right? Preference share capital. So where the redeemable preference share capital, so where this preference share capital was classified in the balance sheet, in our accounting standard, in our ICAI, preference share capital को कहाँ दिखाते थे? It is a part of share capital. You are right. It was part of share capital. But in Ind AS, if it is a redeemable preference share capital, it will become liability. So going by the substance, redeemable preference share is capital or liability? Substance क्या है? लाइबिलिटी का सब्सटेंस है या कैपिटल का सब्सटेंस है? इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल तो रेसिडुअल इंटरेस्ट होता है. आपने शेयर मार्केट में पैसा लगाया, कल को कंपनी डूब गई तो आपका पैसा भी डूब गया. You are not entitled to ask for your money, right? So Chitra, you are right, it's a liability. So friends, going by the substance, it is a liability, and hence Ind AS 109 financial instrument, it says that preference share capital, redeemable preference share capital is a liability. It is not a capital. Okay. Substance over form. Then principle based versus rule based. These standard IFRS Ind AS standards are principle based standard, not a rule based standard. Okay. These are highly judgmental. These are the principle based standard. Okay. Informative slide so that your mind start thinking in this direction. Okay. Ind AS are the Indianized version of IFRS applicable to India. Okay. Ind AS are the converged version of IFRS applicable to India. Okay. So Ind AS in India, why? Because these IFRS is used in more than 160 countries across the globe by way of adoption and convergence. Will you remember my example of Dubai, Singapore and Malaysia and Bhutan? Will you remember always? Yeah? Hayana? Yes? Okay, this is the beauty of global standard. One language will enhance comparability, understanding and one set of books. Easy access to global capital market, attract foreign investment, low cost of capital, right? So friends, if you are going for overseas funding, if you are going for the overseas investment, if in our country Ind AS were not applicable, only accounting standard were applicable, all these big companies will spend a lot of time, lot of money for preparing the financial statement for taking an investment from the overseas. But since our financial statement are on the basis of Ind AS, and if I have to convert this Ind AS into IFRS, this is a cakewalk for me. Like Bharti Airtel. Bharti Airtel is preparing its financial statement under Ind AS for the purpose of Indian regulator. And Bharti Airtel is also preparing the financial statement under IFRS. So the same chartered accountant who is preparing Ind AS financial statement, he will also convert this into IFRS financial statement in just 1 hour. नाम ही तो बदलना है, काम तो सब वही है, right? More transparent and visible due to the disclosures. Clear? So friends, now let's talk about the literature. हमारे Ind AS में क्या है? What is there in Ind AS? But so far, have you understood the relevance of IFRS? Have you understood the meaning of adoption and convergence? Have you understood the meaning of carve out, carve in and removal of option? Have you understood that why we called it as a Ind AS? Because it's because of the convergence. Correct? Have you understood what is the benefit of moving towards global standard, moving towards IFRS in terms of Ind AS? Is every aspect clear? Is every aspect clear? Yes or no? Believe me, these classes are very relevant. If you learn, if you attend these classes, you will find it magical. I can guarantee you. Because the experience is not limited to academics. क्या आप सिर्फ पढ़ाई करते हो क्या? आप भी तो आर्टिकलशिप करते हो. You guys are also doing training. You guys are also gaining the practical experience. Your examination question is not 100% theoretical. Your examination question is on the practical bent of mind also. You need to apply your mind practically also. Do you agree or do you agree to disagree with me? Yeah. Okay. Now let's understand the literature. It is very important to understand. Otherwise you will get confused. Friends, globally, there were two set of standard. As I told you, there is a IFRS series and there is a IAS series. What is IAS series? These standard were issued by International Accounting Standard Committee, जिसका नाम बाद में बदल गया और International Accounting Standard Board हो गया, right? So friends, International Accounting Standard were those standard which were issued prior to 2001, okay, which were issued by International Accounting Standard Committee, and later on the name of International Accounting Standard Committee was changed to International Accounting Standard Board in 2001. So IAS standard, International Accounting Standard, are those standards which are issued by International Accounting Standard Committee and revised by IASB. Okay. So friends, up to 2001, there were 41 International Accounting Standard. Up to 2001, 41 International Accounting Standard were issued. 41. कितने IAS issue हुए थे up to 2001? 41. 41, right? Subsequently, when International Accounting Standard Board took over on International Accounting Standard Committee, so they started reviewing all the standard. Why? Because the first IAS 1 was drafted in 1973. पहला इंटरनेशनल अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड कब आया था? 1973 में आया था. So from 1973 to 2001, IASC, International Accounting Standard Committee, they have drafted 41 International Accounting Standard. And these IAS become very old, right? And the size of the economy was growing. The country was ready to apply global standard. So that is why they thought of reviewing all the global standard, all the IAS standard. So in 2001, when International Accounting Standard Board was formed, they told that we will review all the old International Accounting Standard, and wherever we found that there is a major changes, what we'll do, we will delete the old standard and we will issue the new standard under the title of what? Under the title of, absolutely right, Megha, under the title of IFRS. Absolutely right, Ankit, Ritika, Rahul, absolutely right, under the title of IFRS. Yes. So friends, out of IAS 1 to IAS 41, we have 24 IAS effective as of now. Sir, बाकी कहाँ गए? बाकी 17 IAS कहाँ गए? बाकी जो 17 IAS थे वो 16 स्टैंडर्ड में बदल गए, राइट? Because revenue के दो स्टैंडर्ड थे, IAS 11 and IAS 18. So for IAS 11 and IAS 18, one standard IFRS 15 was issued. Okay. So today we have 16 IFRS and today we have 24 IAS. So friends, wherever IAS standards are live, we have started from Ind AS 1 to Ind AS 41, right? But in India, we have the same title, Ind AS. We have the same series, Ind AS, right? For IAS series, we started with Ind AS 1. For IFRS series, we have started with Ind AS 100 plus 1. For IFRS 1, Ind AS 100 plus 1. For IFRS 2, Ind AS 100 plus 2. For IFRS 3, Ind AS 100 plus 3. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? So wherever you will found the 3 series, wherever you will found 3-digit standard, Ind AS 103 on business combination. So you must be able to aware that, okay, these are the standard which have been converged from IFRS series of standard. Wherever you found single or double digit of standard 1 to 41, then it is IAS converted standard, IAS converted standard. Okay. And friends, we have done a beautiful job here for all the interpretation, IFRIC interpretation and SIC interpretations. What we did, we have done a beautiful job. We have included all the interpretations at the end of every relevant standard in the form of appendix, Okay. So let me take you on the Excel file. and make it more clear to all of you so that it will be printed in your mind. It will be printed in mind. Friends, on the Excel file, you must be looking at list of Ind AS and counterpart IFRS standard. Are you able to see this? List of Ind AS and counterpart IFRS standard. Are you able to see this? Yes or no? Yeah. Is it clear? Yeah. So friends, wherever IAS 1, IAS 2 was there, we have drafted Ind AS 1, Ind AS 2. But Priya, you will not find Ind AS 3, 4, 5, 6. Why you will not find Ind AS 3, 4, 5, 6? Ankit, why? Saurabh, why 3, 4, 5, 6 is not there? Friends, IAS 3, 4, 5, 6 is not there. Why? Because these are deleted and moved to IFRS series of standard. So since IAS 3, 4, 5, 6 is not there, we have also not notified Ind AS 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Why? Because we have maintained the same series of standard. We have maintained the same series of standard. Is that clear? So don't be surprised. आप बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज को मत लिखना कि डियर बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज, डियर ICAI, Ind AS 3, 4, 5, 6 is missing. These are not missing. These have not been notified intentionally. Why? Because there is no IAS 3, 4, 5, 6. पहले होता था, बट वो कहां चला गया? पृथ्वीराज कहां चला गया? वो IFRS टाइटल में चला गया. It went to IFRS title. It went to IFRS title. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yeah. Okay. Same way, IS 78 is there and we have Ind AS 78. IS 9 is not there. Why? Because deleted and moved to IFRS series. There is no Ind AS 9. There is no Ind AS 11. There is no Ind AS 13, 14, 15. There is no Ind AS 17, 18. Why? Because we don't have IAS series of standard for those areas. Is that clear or not clear? Is that clear to everyone, friends? So friends, for all the IFRS series of standard, IFRS 1 to IFRS 14, IFRS 16, we have issued Ind AS 101 to Ind AS 116. You will found this into chronological order. You will found this into order. Why? Because we have all the IFRS standards. We have all the IFRS standard. So friends, we have in total, we have 24 IAS, 16 IFRS, 40 IFRS IS. In Ind AS, we have 23 Ind AS and 16 Ind AS in comparison to 16 IFRS. So in comparison to 40 standard, we have 39 Ind AS. Why? Because friends, we have not notified the counterpart standard of IAS 26 because this standard is largely applicable on trust. And in India, Ind AS is not applicable to non-corporate entities. That is why we have not adopted Ind AS 26. हम करेंगे बाद में करेंगे. Okay. So we have 39 Ind AS in comparison to 40 IFRS or IAS. Okay. Is that clear? So what is the Ind AS standard structure? Like there is a main standard. Main standard का मतलब Ind AS 16, for example, property, plant and equipment. There is a main standard. Then after the main standard, you will found alphabetical appendix. What is meant by alphabetical appendix? Appendix A, Appendix B, Appendix C. What is this alphabetical appendix denotes? Main standard आप समझ गए, जैसे आपके accounting standard थे वैसे Ind AS का standard है, which talks about recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure requirement. In appendix, alphabetical appendix, there is a interpretation like Appendix A. Appendix A to property, plant and equipment, it talks about the accounting of asset retirement obligation. Interpretation, मैंने आपको बताया था ना, IFRIC interpretation, SIC interpretation. Have I told you IFRIC interpretation, SIC interpretation? Those interpretations are captured in terms of alphabetical appendix. Then there is a numerical appendix. Numerical appendix means Appendix 1, Appendix Roman 1, Appendix Roman 2, Appendix I, Appendix II. So what is this Roman appendix? In this Roman appendix, the difference between IFRS and Ind AS standard has been captured at the end of every Ind AS standard. Okay. At the end of every Ind AS standard. At the end of every Ind AS standard. Friends, if I talk about Ind AS and IFRS, if I talk about Ind AS, our accounting standard were very limited. Our accounting standard were small, limited. But in accounting standard, even the word which was used is may, should, may, should. But in Ind AS, the word used is shall. What is the difference between may, should, and shall? May, should, it represents a choice. It represents a optionality, option. लगता है ना choice है, option है. But what is the meaning of shall? Mandatory, right? So these Ind AS standards, in the Ind AS standard, the word at various places is used as shall, like the company shall, the management shall, means they have to do this. It becomes mandatory. It becomes mandatory. From optional, it becomes mandatory. Is that clear? Is that clear to everyone? Yes or no? Yeah? Very good. Very good. And my dear friends, I hope now you guys have understood the relevance of 3-digit series standard, 1 to 2-digit series standard, the relevance of the missing standard, the total standard, which is 39, the main standard, alphabetical appendix, and the Roman appendix. Have you understood this or not? Tell me. This is very, 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 very important. Yes, each and every student, till the time each and every student will not say, yes, I'll not move forward. I will not move forward. Right? You are spending your precious time. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can see the response by each and every student. Thank you so much. Let's move further. I have also given the name of Ind AS numbers. In the middle column, IFRS numbers, and in the right column, extremely right, IGAP, accounting standard number, right? So that you will see this comparison and you can just take the printout. So of course, this presentation will be shared with Board of Studies. You can take a printout of this slide, and what you can do, you can paste this in front of your study table or in terms of your workstation in your office. Like here you can also see there are Ind AS number, there are IFRS number, and you will find there are a lot of missing number in accounting standard. Why? We have only 27 accounting standard, but we have 39 Ind AS. Okay. So you can see a lot of missing number in accounting standard. Okay. And friends, these 39 Indian accounting standard, please write down 39 Indian accounting standards were notified wide MCA notification dated 16 February 2015. So when Ind AS becomes the reality in India, Ind AS became the reality in India in 2015, 2 days after the Valentine's Day. When Valentine's Day is getting celebrated? When Valentine Day is getting celebrated? ये तो बता दो. It is 14th of February. So 2 days after 14th February, what is the date? What is the date after 14th February? 2 days after 14th February, 16th February. Ind AS were notified on 16th February 2015. 10 years back. Ind AS become reality. Ind AS become the headline of Indian newspaper on 16 February 2015. Ministry of Corporate Affairs had notified 39 Indian accounting standard on 16 February 2015. And MCA had also given the roadmap for implementation of Ind AS on 16 February 2015. Correct? And friends, as I told you, there are 27 accounting standard. And how many Ind AS? How many Ind AS? There are 39 Ind AS. There are 39 Ind AS. 27 accounting standard, 39 Ind AS. Okay. Yeah. Clear? So there are 12 more standard. There is a very detailed guidance, 12 more standards. So you will find that India is an agriculture based economy. If somebody will ask you, Bharat kaisa desh hai? Which type of economy India has? India has a rich agriculture based economy. India has a rich agriculture based economy, right? But we don't have any accounting standard for agriculture accounting. We don't have any accounting standard for biological asset. We don't have any accounting standard for biological asset. But now we have Ind AS 41. We have Ind AS 41, which talks about biological asset. Which talks about biological asset, right? कृषि प्रधान, you are right, पृथ्वीराज. भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश है. Okay, friends, there was no standard on fair value measurement. In even accounting standard, there is a concept of fair value, but there is no accounting standard on fair value measurement. In Ind AS, there is a single standard, Ind AS 113, which talks about the fair value measurement. Friends, in India, there was no any accounting standard on financial instrument. AS 30, 31, 32, it was notified, but it was never become mandatory. It was recommendatory, never become mandatory. But Ind AS 107, Ind AS 109, and Ind AS 32, these three standards become mandatory standards, right? We have three standards on financial instrument. On insurance contract, there was no standard. Now we have Ind AS 104. On share-based payment, ESOP, there was a guidance note under ICAI, but in Ind AS, there is a full-fledged standard. Right? So friends, likewise, we have the new standard in these areas, which we don't have in our accounting standard. Okay. Right? Is that clear? No problem, Megha. So you can hear so I can understand that your office is there and you can listen the YouTube. This is a YouTube lecture. It is a recorded lecture. You can listen the remaining part of the class after your office. Okay, no problem. Pitambar is asking, IFRS 18 has come. Will by May 26 Ind AS 1 be amended? Answer is, so Pitambar, so of course this standard will be applicable in 2027. For May 26 exam, Ind AS 1 will be applicable. Okay, for May 26, whatever we are teaching you, that will be relevant and applicable. So friends, let's have a break. Let's have a 10 minutes break. It's 8:42 now, and we will start our lecture at 8:53. Let's have a 10 minutes break. Okay. we have covered the first part, overview of Ind AS, introduction to Indian accounting standard, right? Now we understood why Ind AS, what is Ind AS, when Ind AS were notified, right? Now we are entering into the second agenda. You remember there were three agenda: introduction to Ind AS, roadmap for implementation of Ind AS in India, and the division 2 to schedule 3. Schedule 3, most probably, if time will permit, will cover it. Few part will cover it today. Otherwise, in the next class, the second class, I'll also be taking the second class. So we will cover this division 2 to schedule 3 in the second class. Okay. So now moving to the second part, Ind AS roadmap in India. My dear friends, it is important to understand that Ind AS is applicable to which set of companies. Why? Because we have two sets. We have accounting standard and we have Ind AS, right? In India, we have two set of accounting standard for companies, AS as well as Ind AS. So since we have two set of accounting standard, it is important to understand what is applicable to whom. Okay. So we are going to talk about the roadmap for implementation of Ind AS in India, on which entities Ind AS is applicable. First of all, make it very clear. Make it very clear that Ind AS is applicable only to what? Only to companies or non-companies also. Ind AS is applicable only to corporate, only to companies. Ind AS is applicable only to what? Only to companies, only to corporate. Ind AS is applicable to corporate. Corporate means any entity where it ends with, where the name ends with limited or private limited. Where the name ends with limited or private limited. Clear? Gurram, is that clear? Yes, corporate companies, right? Corporate and companies are same thing. So any entity where the name ends with limited or private limited, where the name ends with limited or private limited. Right, my dear friends? Is that right? Is that clear? Great. Great. Where the name ends with limited or private limited. So friends, Ind AS is only applicable to companies. Okay. And when Ind AS was notified, Ind AS was notified on 16 February 2015. And there were two notifications. One came in, the first notification came in 2015. The second notification came in 2016. Okay. There were two notifications came. Right. So let me talk more about the Ind AS applicability. And for giving you more clarity on the Ind AS applicability, let me take you on my Excel file. I hope my Excel file is visible to all of you. I hope my Excel file is visible to all of you. Friends, while this notification, this Ind AS was notified 10 years ago, let me talk about the applicability as on date, as of today. For example, if I will say that what is, when Income Tax Act was introduced in India, when Income Tax Act was introduced, tell me. Income Tax Act कौन से साल का है? Income Tax Act 1961. You are absolutely right, Venkata. 1961. But are you reading the provisions which was notified in 1961 or which is applicable today? In 1961, you know, the slab rate was, for example, up to 2500 rupees, there was no tax. From 2500 rupees to 5000 rupees, there was a 10% or 20% of tax. So are you reading that slab, or are you reading latest provision up to 5 lakh, up to 7 lakh, 10 lakh, 80C deduction, 1.5 lakh? Now you are talking about lakhs. Earlier, the provision relating to 1000. So likewise, Ind AS was notified on 16 February 2015. There was a roadmap for implementation on a phase wise, right? But gradually, when I talk today, it is relevant to understand what is the applicability as of today. अभी आज की डेट में कौन कौन सी कंपनीज पे applicable है Ind AS? Is that clear? Makes sense also? Yeah. So friends, Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies. Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies except SME listed companies. Just hear me patiently. I will speak one by one, and it would be great if you will make a note of it. If you will prepare your notes. Okay. I'm sure that you guys are ready with pen and paper. Please prepare your notes. Number one, Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies. First of all, write that Ind AS is only applicable to companies. It is not applicable to non-corporate entities. It is not applicable to non-corporate entities. Now, number two, Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies, means all companies which are listed, all Indian companies which are listed on any stock exchange on this planet. For example, if there is an Indian company which is not listed in India, which is listed in US, NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange. So if an Indian company is listed in US, still it will be qualified as a listed company, right? तो उस पे इंडिया में क्या एप्लीकेबल होगा? इंड एस एप्लीकेबल होगा. Or for example, a company is listed in India, for example, Reliance, Tata Motors, Tata Steel, Bharti Airtel, ITC, L&T. All these companies are listed in India. These are the listed companies. On these companies, Ind AS are applicable. Sir, whether on all listed companies Ind AS are applicable, is there any exception? So first you should write Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies, right? Exception. What is the exception? Exception is SME listed companies. If a company is listed on SME stock exchange, right, friends, like there is a normal stock exchange like BSE and NSE, Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, BSE and NSE, there is also a SME stock exchange, like BSE has a SME stock exchange. NSE has a SME stock exchange for the small companies, right? And what is the name of that stock exchange? The name of the NSE SME stock exchange is NSE Emerge. Please write down. NSE Emerge is the SME listing platform of NSE India. NSE Emerge is the SME stock exchange of NSE India, right? So friends, exception is if any company which is listed in small and medium enterprise stock exchange, then on that SME company, Ind AS is not applicable. Ind AS is not mandatorily applicable. But on all listed companies, Ind AS are mandatorily applicable. Okay. Sir, whether a SME listed company can apply Ind AS voluntarily? अगर वो वॉलंटरी Ind AS अप्लाई करना चाहे तो कर सकती है. Yes. The SME listed companies can apply Ind AS voluntarily. Is that clear? Is that clear to all of you, my dear friends? Yeah? Okay. Sir, is there any exception further? Bank and insurance companies. HDFC Bank Limited. It is incorporated under Companies Act also. It is incorporated under Banking Act also. It is also a corporate company also, right? So whether HDFC Bank is a listed company? Answer is yes, HDFC Bank is listed. Okay. So whether Ind AS is applicable to HDFC Bank? Answer is no. Why? Because Reserve Bank of India has deferred Ind AS applicability to banks sine die. Okay. Sine die means as of now, the applicability date on bank has not been notified. So the second exception of listed companies, banks and insurance companies cannot apply Ind AS. Banks and insurance companies cannot apply Ind AS. Doesn't matter it is listed, unlisted, it cannot apply Ind AS. So banks and insurance companies, it cannot apply Ind AS, right? So HDFC Bank is preparing its financial statement. HDFC Bank Limited is preparing its financial statement. ICICI Bank Limited is preparing its financial statement under accounting standard, not under Ind AS. Is that clear? Yeah. So Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies except SME listed entities, except bank and insurance companies. Okay. Fine. Yes. Sir, either company could be listed or company could be unlisted. या तो कंपनी लिस्टेड होगी या कंपनी अनलिस्टेड होगी. So if a company is unlisted, whether Ind AS is applicable? If listed, we understood कि अगर वो listed company है तो Ind AS applicable होगा. But what about unlisted companies? Venkata, what about unlisted companies? Saminathan, what about unlisted company? Mega, what about the unlisted company? Yes. So for unlisted company, it is applicable if the net worth is equal to or more than 250 crores. You are absolutely right, Chandrakant. It is on the basis of net worth. If the net worth is more than 250 crores, then Ind AS will be applicable to such unlisted companies. Okay. Otherwise, on unlisted companies, Ind AS is not applicable. For listed company, Ind AS is applicable irrespective of the net worth. But for unlisted companies, Ind AS will be applicable. So Venkata, Ind AS is applicable to unlisted companies if net worth is more than 250 crores. Is that clear? Is that clear? Friends, if Ind AS is applicable on any company, for example, Ind AS is applicable to Reliance Industries Limited. Why Ind AS is applicable to Reliance Industries Limited? Why Ind AS is applicable to Reliance Industries Limited? Because it's a big listed company. It's a listed company, right? Doesn't matter big or small, it's a listed company. So if Ind AS is applicable to a company, it is automatically applicable to the holding company of such company. It is automatically applicable to the subsidiary, associate, and joint venture of such company. For example, this is Reliance. For example, this company is Reliance. Okay. So in this case, Ind AS is automatically applicable to the subsidiary of Reliance. Ind AS is automatically applicable to the associate of Reliance. Ind AS is automatically applicable to the JV company of Reliance, right? Ind AS is applicable to the subsidiary, associate, and joint venture of Reliance. And Ind AS is also applicable to the holding company of Reliance. If Reliance has a holding company, like Bharti Airtel has a holding company, they have Bharti Enterprises Limited, Bharti Enterprises Private Limited. So since Bharti Airtel is a listed company, Ind AS is applicable. So it will be automatically applicable to the holding company of Bharti Airtel, which is Bharti Enterprises Private Limited. Ind AS is automatically applicable to the subsidiary, associate, and joint venture of Bharti Airtel Limited. Ind AS is automatically applicable to the subsidiary, associate, and joint venture of Reliance Industries Limited. Is that clear? Is that clear to all of you? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah. So joint venture means, for example, there is a company in which the two different companies has invested. For example, for Indus Towers Limited. Have you heard about Indus Towers Limited? Indus Tower Limited is into the tower business. They are installing towers for telecom companies. So this Indus Tower Limited is the joint venture between Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea Limited. Means Bharti Airtel and Vodafone, these two companies have formed a company which is Indus Towers Limited, right? Joint venture. Venture means an entity, and it's a jointly controlled entity of two companies where two or more investors are there, two or more companies are there. This is known as a joint venture, right? So friends, if Ind AS is applicable to a company, it is automatically applicable to the holding of such company, subsidiary of such company, associate of such company, and JV of such company. Means if Ind AS is applicable to this, it is automatically applicable to subsidiary, associate, joint venture, and the holding company. Now I am asking a question to all of you. For example, Reliance is a big company, and Reliance has a subsidiary which is Reliance Bank Limited. On Reliance Industries Limited, Ind AS is applicable, but it has a subsidiary, Reliance Bank Limited. Now tell me whether on bank Ind AS is applicable. On bank Ind AS is applicable. Answer is no. Ind AS is not applicable on bank, but this Reliance Bank Limited is a subsidiary of Reliance Industries Limited. Tell me whether this bank will apply Ind AS. Being a subsidiary, as I told you, if Ind AS is applicable on a company, it will be automatically applicable to the subsidiary of such company. Friends, tell me whether it will be applicable on bank, it will be applicable on Reliance Bank Limited. Answer is no. Answer is no. Notification says that the bank will do its regulatory reporting under accounting standard. So Reliance Bank Limited will file its financial statement under MCA, under RBI. So Reliance Bank Limited will prepare its financial statement as per what? Reliance Bank Limited will prepare its financial statement as per accounting standard. The auditor will audit the Reliance financial statement as per accounting standard. Okay? As per accounting standard. And my dear friends, how Reliance will do the consolidation? Because the subsidiary is preparing the financial statement under accounting standard. So how Reliance will do the consolidation? Reliance का consolidation कैसे होगा? ये subsidiary के accounts, because Reliance तो Ind AS apply कर रहा है. So how these subsidiaries accounts got merged with Reliance? Tell me, कैसे करें? Apply your chartered accountant mind. Friends, for the consolidation purpose, this bank will prepare Ind AS financial statement. This bank will prepare a special purpose financial statement. This bank will prepare fit for consolidation financial statement. This bank will prepare fit for consolidation financial statement for the purpose of consolidation. For the purpose of consolidation. Is that clear? Is it clear or clear? Is it clear in mind or clear from mind? Is it clear in mind or clear from mind? Pitambar, I'll come to you. Okay. Yes. So friends, as per 16 February 2015 notification, Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies except SME listed companies. Ind AS is applicable to all unlisted companies where net worth is more than 250 crores. If it is applicable to a company, it is automatically applicable to the holding of such company, subsidiary, associate and joint venture of such company. Okay. As per 30th March 2016 notification, there is another notification also where the NBFC companies were also captured, right? So Ind AS is applicable to all listed NBFC companies. So when this 16 February notification came, NBFC was out of picture. But आज की डेट में NBFC पे भी है. Okay. So Ind AS is applicable to all listed NBFC companies. Ind AS is applicable to all unlisted NBFC companies also, whose net worth is equal to or more than 250 crores. Whose net worth is equal to or more than 250 crores. Is that clear? Is that clear? Whose net worth is equal to or more than 250 crores. Yeah? Is it clear or clear? Okay. So friends, if Ind AS is applicable to NBFC company, it is automatically applicable to the holding, subsidiary, associate and joint venture of such company, right? Ind AS is not applicable on which entity? Ind AS is not applicable to non-corporate entity. Means Ind AS is not applicable to partnership firm. Ind AS is not applicable to proprietorship firm, Hindu undivided family, trust, body of individual, local authorities, LLP, limited liability partnership, partnership firm. Ind AS is not applicable. So what happens if Reliance has invested in a partnership firm? If Reliance has invested in a partnership firm, then what is applicable to partnership firm? AS or Ind AS? Partnership firm will prepare its financial statement as per accounting standard issued for non-corporate entity, right? So Reliance will prepare its financial statement as per accounting standard. Reliance will file, this partnership firm will also file its financial statement in income tax authority with tax audit, return of income under accounting standard. But for the purpose of consolidation, this partnership firm has to migrate its accounts under Indian accounting standard. Okay, for the purpose of consolidation. Is that clear? Pitambar, I hope you got the answer also. I hope you got your answer as well. Yes? Yeah? Clear? So Ind AS is not applicable to non-corporate entity. Ind AS is not applicable to SME listed entity, right? Ind AS is not applicable to SME listed entity, right? So non-corporate entity cannot apply Ind AS even voluntarily. SME listed companies Ind AS is not applicable, but this entity can apply Ind AS voluntarily. Voluntarily apply कर सकते हैं, but applicable नहीं है. Insurance and banking companies, cannot apply Ind AS even voluntarily. On bank and insurance, Ind AS is big no. As of now, Ind AS is not applicable. Companies whose net worth is less than 250 crore, Ind AS is not applicable, but can apply Ind AS voluntarily. So let me write it. Ind AS not applicable, but can apply voluntarily. Ind AS not applicable, but can apply voluntarily. Overseas entities. Reliance Industries Limited has invested. Reliance Industries Limited has invested what? Reliance Industries Limited has invested what? In USA. Reliance has a subsidiary in US. Reliance की एक subsidiary US में है, overseas entity. Whether overseas entity will apply Ind AS. Overseas entities Ind AS apply करेगी. On overseas entities, whether Ind AS is applicable. Venkata is saying yes, Geet is saying no. Guys, if a company is located in US, whether Ind AS will be applicable or US GAAP will be applicable. वहां की जो लोकल जुरिस्डिक्शन होगा, राइट अंकित, क्या एप्लीकेबल होगा? यूएस गैप एप्लीकेबल होगा ना वेंकटा? व्हाट इज एप्लीकेबल? यूएस गैप विल बी एप्लीकेबल, राइट? सो Ind AS is not applicable to overseas entities. On overseas entities, the local gap which is applicable, the local gap will be applicable. The local gap will be applicable. क्या एप्लीकेबल होगा? लोकल गैप एप्लीकेबल होगा. Yes, you are right, Geet. But for the consolidation purpose, because Reliance is the parent and it has a subsidiary in USA. So what about consolidation? How Reliance will do the consolidation from US GAAP financial statement? For the consolidation purpose, the special purpose financial statement, for the consolidation purpose, the special purpose financial statement, the fit for consolidated financial statement, the fit for consolidation financial statement needs to be prepared as per Ind AS only for the purpose of consolidation. But as far as regulatory reporting is concerned, the regulatory reporting has to be as per accounting, as per the local GAAP, as per the US GAAP. Clear? Is this clear or clear? Is this clear or clear? Is this clear or clear? Yeah. Sir, if there is a small company, private limited company, net worth is less than 250 crore. For a private limited company, unlisted company, Ind AS is applicable only when the net worth is more than 250 crore. Okay, sir. For example, there is a small private limited company and it is a subsidiary of overseas entity. It is a subsidiary of US parent. The parent is sitting in USA and the parent has invested in India. So in Indian entity is a subsidiary, the parent is into USA, and that the parent is a listed parent in USA. So US based company है, US में listed है और उसकी subsidiary India में है. And that US parent is a listed parent. Tell me whether Ind AS is applicable to this subsidiary in India. क्या Indian company पे Ind AS applicable होगा? Geet is saying not applicable. Venkata is saying not applicable. What about Chitra? Chitra, whether Ind AS is applicable? Yeah. Prithviraj. No, sir. US GAAP will be applicable for consolidation. Very good. So, my dear friend, I am talking about Indian company. On Indian company, whether Ind AS will be applicable or no, answer is no. So, for Ind AS applicability to Indian company, you are not required to look at the overseas entities. You cannot say that, sir, this entity is a subsidiary of overseas entities, which is listed entity, right? So on that overseas listed entity, Ind AS is not applicable. And hence, it is not applicable to the Indian subsidiary also, right? So Indian company के लिए applicability देखनी है, तो you have to see from the Indian company perspective, not the overseas company perspective. Not the overseas company perspective. Is that clear? Is that clear? So, Chandrakant, since listed anywhere in the world, it is relevant for the Indian company. If an Indian company is listed anywhere in the world, then Ind AS is applicable. For example, Renew Power Limited. Renew Power Limited is not listed in India. It is listed in USA. पर वो कंपनी कहाँ की है? कंपनी इंडिया की है, इनकॉर्पोरेटेड इन इंडिया. So for applicability of Ind AS, the entity has to be incorporated in India and can be listed anywhere in the world. Then Ind AS will be applicable. Chandrakant, is that clear? Is that clear, Chandrakant? Guys, are you enjoying the session? Do you found this session useful? Are you feeling right that private classes are going on? Do you have such kind of a feel where you're able to get the concept without paying money? Yes? Or you are ready to pay a hefty amount, 20,000, 30,000? Yeah? Okay, great, great. Then do share about these classes with your friends, with the circle who are actually the needy person. Okay. Yes. Now come back to the topic again. We understood this part. Okay. So friends, Ind AS is not applicable to overseas entities. And friends, Ind AS is applicable to NBFC company only when it is a listed company or when the net worth is more than 250 crores. If NBFC companies having a net worth of less than 250 crores, like I told you, if a normal company is having a net worth of less than 250 crore, Ind AS is not applicable, but it can apply Ind AS voluntarily. But whether a NBFC company whose net worth is less than 250 crores, can that company apply Ind AS voluntarily? Yeah. Answer is no. So for NBFC company, there is an exception. NBFC company cannot apply Ind AS even voluntarily, right? So NBFC company cannot apply Ind AS even voluntarily. Okay, is that clear? So I will share this Excel file with all of you. You can make your notes and you will always remember these kind of concept. Saminathan is saying, sir, I attended few revisionary classes. I impressed and hence attending this class. Great, Saminathan. And I can see that you was my student in the earlier revisionary classes also. Thank you. Right. So friends, now let's discuss the relationship. Sir, why small NBFC are restrained from doing so? Would not it be better if they follow? Prithviraj, you are right. But in NBFC company, there is a lot of complexity, right? NBFC business is not simple. NBFC business is not simple, right? And you know, NBFC and bank are almost of a similar nature. On the banks, since Ind AS is not applicable, that is why they have told that we will do the limited applicability to NBFC, all listed NBFC and unlisted NBFC whose net worth is more than 250 crore. Even the notification says that if a NBFC company is a subsidiary, associate and joint venture of a non-NBFC, for example, Reliance Industries. Reliance Industries Limited is a NBFC or non-NBFC? ये Reliance है. Reliance क्या है? NBFC या non-NBFC है? Reliance is not a NBFC. Reliance is non-NBFC, right? Reliance has a subsidiary. Reliance की एक subsidiary है जो कि NBFC है. And this is a private limited subsidiary whose net worth is also less than 250 crore. अगर नेटवर्थ 250 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो बाय डिफॉल्ट ही अप्लाई हो जाएगा, करेक्ट? और लिस्टेड है तो बाय डिफॉल्ट ही अप्लाई हो जाएगा. So there is a subsidiary of Reliance which is a NBFC entity. So even the notification says that if Ind AS is not applicable to NBFC company, why? Because it is not a listed entity or its net worth is less than 250 crore, then Ind AS is not applicable to this NBFC just because of relationship with the Reliance. मतलब Ind AS is not applicable to NBFC company just because of relationship with the non-NBFC company. अगर ये NBFC के साथ रिलेशनशिप है तो Ind AS अप्लाई होगा, बट अगर नॉन NBFC के पास साथ रिलेशनशिप है तो Ind AS अप्लाई नहीं होगा. Is that clear? Is that clear or not clear? Clear, not clear? Clear नहीं हुआ? So let me draw some chart for you. Let me draw some chart. Number one, NBFC is subsidiary, or first of all, let me draw. NBFC is listed like Bajaj Finance Limited. Particulars. Applicability. Particulars applicability. NBFC is listed like Bajaj Finance Limited. Ind AS applicable or not applicable? Ind AS applicable. Ind AS applicable. Unlisted NBFC. Net worth greater than 250 crores. Ind AS applicable, not applicable? Ind AS applicable. Now, unlisted NBFC net worth is less than 250 crore. Net worth is less than 250 crore. Ind AS applicable, not applicable? Not applicable. Ind AS applicable होगा या नहीं होगा? Not applicable. Ind AS. Then what is applicable? Accounting standard is applicable. Is it clear? Is it clear so far? Yeah. Is this clear so far? Clear so far? Yes. Okay. So now, if Ind AS is not applicable, right? And let me give you the name of this company. For example, ABC Fin Private Limited. ABC Fin Private Limited. ठीक है? Now this ABC Fin Private Limited, this is a NBFC entity. ABC Fin Private Limited, NBFC, is subsidiary or associate or JV of non-NBFC entity. Tell me whether Ind AS will be applicable or will not be applicable. बताओ क्या होगा? Whether Ind AS will be applicable or not applicable. क्या होगा? Notification says that Ind AS will not be applicable just because of relationship with the non-NBFC entity. Not applicable, right? और इस पे खुद से तो applicable है नहीं, क्योंकि ये क्या है? नेटवर्थ इसकी less than 250 करोड़ है और unlisted entity है. कैसे पता अनलिस्टेड एंटिटी है? क्योंकि प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है. ओके. सेकंड सिनारियो, एबीसी फिन प्राइवेट लिमिटेड इज सब्सिडरी एसोसिएट जॉइंट वेंचर ऑफ एनबीएफसी एंटिटी, फॉर एग्जांपल बजाज फाइनेंस लिमिटेड. नाउ टेल मी whether Ind AS will be applicable or not applicable to this NBFC entity. क्या होगा बताओ? Now it becomes applicable. Sir, in the first case, when this entity was a subsidiary, associate or joint venture of a non-NBFC entity, then how that non-NBFC will do the consolidation? For the consolidation purpose, this entity has to migrate its accounts under Indian accounting standard. Is that clear? I hope it is clear to everyone. Yes. So ये NBFC वाला सबको याद रहेगा. Yes. ये मैंने आपको बता भी दिया, क्लियर भी कर दिया. Okay. Now friends, this notification says that if Ind AS is applicable to a company, it will be automatically applicable to the holding of such company, subsidiary, associate and joint venture of such company. Now let's discuss some relationship. So for example, if Mohan will say that I am son of Ram, what Ram will say? If Mohan will say that I am son of Ram, what Ram will say? राम विल से आई एम फादर ऑफ मोहन, यही तो कहेगा ना राम, और क्या कहेगा? करेक्ट. If Mohan will say that I am nephew of Ram, what Ram will say? What Ram will say? I am uncle. I am uncle of Mohan. So you guys are very good in relationship. You guys understand relationship. Now, let me tell you the corporate relationship. Right. Corporate relationship. Let me tell you the corporate relationship. If an entity is called as a subsidiary, what is the other entity called about? If an entity is a subsidiary, what other entity is called about? Other entity is a parent. If an entity is a joint venture, what other entity is called about? What is the name of other entity? If an entity is a parent, what is the name of the other entity? Sorry, if an entity is a joint venture, what is the name of the other entity? That other entity is venturer. अगर एक एंटिटी सब्सिडरी है तो दूसरी एंटिटी क्या है? पेरेंट या होल्डिंग कंपनी है, पेरेंट या होल्डिंग. अगर एक एंटिटी जॉइंट वेंचर है तो उसके ऊपर वाली एंटिटी क्या है? वेंचरर है. अगर एक एंटिटी एसोसिएट है तो दूसरी एंटिटी क्या है? इन्वेस्टर है. ओके, द अदर एंटिटी इज इन्वेस्टर. दीज आर द रिलेशनशिप, दीज आर द रिलेशनशिप. सो नाउ लेट मी आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन. Let me ask you a question. If Ind AS is applicable to a subsidiary, if Ind AS is applicable to a subsidiary, whether it is applicable to the holding or parent also, अगर Ind AS एक सब्सिडरी पे एप्लीकेबल है तो क्या वो होल्डिंग पे भी एप्लीकेबल होगा? Yes, yes, it will be applicable to the holding company also. Yes, I told you na, when Ind AS is applicable to any company, it will be applicable to the holding of such company, subsidiary, associate, and joint venture of such company. On the upside, it is applicable to the holding company. If Ind AS is applicable to an entity which is a joint venture, whether it is applicable to the venturer also, whether it is applicable to the venturer also on the upside, venturer पे भी applicable होगा. Yeah, whether it is applicable to the venturer also. Few students are saying yes, few are saying no. Few are saying yes, few are saying no. Tell me, is it applicable, not applicable? Friends, अभी तो आपको relationship बताया है मैंने. On the upside, in the notification, what is covered? नोटिफिकेशन में क्या कवर किया है? नीचे तो सब्सिडरी, एसोसिएट और जॉइंट वेंचर सबको कवर किया है. इफ Ind AS इज एप्लीकेबल टू अ कंपनी, ऑन द डाउन साइड सब्सिडरी, एसोसिएट एंड जॉइंट वेंचर ऑल आर एप्लीकेबल. बट ऑन द अपसाइड सिर्फ और सिर्फ होल्डिंग कंपनी का ही नाम लिखा है. ऑन द अपसाइड ओनली होल्डिंग इज एप्लीकेबल. सो इफ Ind AS इज एप्लीकेबल टू अ कंपनी विच इज अ जॉइंट वेंचर, तो क्या इसके ऊपर वाला जो वेंचरर है उस पर Ind AS एप्लीकेबल होगा? Yeah, it will not be applicable, guys. On the upside, only holding is covered. On the upside, uncle and maternal uncle is not covered. So, friends, just because Ind AS is applicable to the joint venture, it is not automatically applicable to the venturer. आप समझते हो ना, फादर हमेशा सन से बड़े होते हैं. वेंचरर हमेशा जॉइंट वेंचर से बड़ा होगा, मतलब बड़ा मतलब अपसाइड होगा, ऊपर होगा. राइट? इन्वेस्टर हमेशा एसोसिएट से ऊपर होगा. Investor, venturer, parent and holding, these are the upstream companies. These are the upside companies. Okay. And subsidiary, joint venture, associate, these are the downstream companies, because the upstream companies has invested in these downstream companies, right? So not applicable. Ind AS is applicable to an entity which is an associate. Whether Ind AS is applicable to the investor, इन्वेस्टर वर्ड आपने कहीं पढ़ा है क्या उसमें नोटिफिकेशन में? टेल मी. इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल टू माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल. नाउ लेट मी ट्विस्ट द बोर्ड. Ind AS is applicable to a parent, whether it is applicable to the subsidiary. Ind AS is applicable to the parent, whether it is applicable to the subsidiary. Answer is yes. Ind AS is applicable to the venturer, whether it is applicable to the joint venture. For downstream entities, is it only talking about subsidiary or is it talking about subsidiary, associates, and joint venture of such company. It is talking about all three. It is talking about all three. If Ind AS is applicable to a venturer, it is also applicable to the joint venture. If Ind AS is applicable to investor, is it applicable? Is it applicable to the associate also? बताइए, क्या वो एसोसिएट पे भी एप्लीकेबल होगा अंकित? Yes, I'll go with Ankit. Ankit is saying yes, sir, it will be applicable. Friends, have you understood this part? Upstream entity, downstream entity, relationship. Have you understood this part or not? Friends, when I'm saying Ind AS applicable or not applicable, I am talking from regulatory perspective. अगर कोई एंटिटी पे Ind AS अप्लाई नहीं होता और वो अगर सब्सिडरी, एसोसिएट या जॉइंट वेंचर है, तो क्या करेगी? अपने पेरेंट के लिए, अपने वेंचरर के लिए, अपने इन्वेस्टर के लिए, उसके कंसोलिडेशन के लिए, दिस एंटिटी विल प्रिपेयर fit for consolidation Ind AS financial statement. Okay, is that clear? ये आपको समझ आ गया? Are you clear on this? Chitra, Saminathan, Pitambar, Ankit, Geet, Rahul, Ritika, is that clear to all of you? Yes? Okay, great. Great, guys. Right? So, friends, NBFC company we discussed. Just to cut a long story short, Ind AS is applicable to all listed companies, of course, Indian companies, of course. Ind AS is the Indianized version of IFRS applicable to India. It is only applicable to Indian entities. Okay, Ind AS is applicable to all Indian companies if it is listed. Ind AS is applicable to all unlisted companies in India if net worth is more than 250 crores. What is the exception, sir? If a company is listed on SME stock exchange, then Ind AS is not applicable mandatorily. It can apply voluntarily. Okay. If Ind AS is applicable to a company, it is automatically applicable to its holding company. It is automatically applicable to the subsidiary, joint venture, and associate. Right? Ind AS is also applicable to non-banking financial companies, NBFC companies, if it is listed, or it is also applicable to unlisted NBFC whose net worth is more than 250 crore. If Ind AS is applicable to such company, then it is automatically applicable to the holding of such company, subsidiary, associate, and joint venture of such company. My dear friends, on the upside, in the notification, only holding word is covered. Venturer and investor is not covered. So if an entity on which Ind AS is applicable is an associate of a company, right? Means the other company is investor, then Ind AS will not be applicable to that investor. Ind AS will not be applicable to that joint venturer. On a non-corporate entity, you cannot apply Ind AS. But if a non-corporate entity, a company has invested in a non-corporate entity, then for the purpose of consolidation, fit for consolidation accounts will be prepared, but the regulatory reporting of that non-corporate will be as per accounting standard issued by ICAI. For SME listed entities, again, not mandatory, but if it want to apply, it can apply. In bank and insurance, answer is big no. Even they cannot apply voluntarily. Companies whose net worth is less than 250 crores, they can apply Ind AS voluntarily. Mandatory, it is not applicable. Overseas entity, Ind AS is not applicable, right? Or if on an NBFC, Ind AS is not applicable, then it is not applicable due to relationship with the non-NBFC entity. And on NBFC, I have explained you with all these scenarios, right? Sir, what is the meaning of net worth? Sir, what is the meaning of net worth? The net worth is defined under Section 2, Clause 57 of Companies Act 2013. It says that net worth is equal to paid up share capital, equity share capital, not preference share capital, paid up share capital plus security premium plus reserves created out of profit. It is not free reserve. It is reserves created out of profit. For example, revaluation reserve, whether it will form part of net worth, whether revaluation reserve on fixed asset, whether this reserve is created out of profit. Answer is no. So revaluation reserve is not a reserve created out of profit, and hence on the revaluation reserve Ind AS, net worth, it does not come under the definition of net worth. Okay, it is not a reserve created out of profit. Saminathan is asking, sir, non-corporate entity net worth is greater than 250 crore. Swaminathan, doesn't matter. Even though if the non-corporate entity net worth is 1000 crore, India is not applicable, right? Because MCA is not applicable to non-corporate. So friends, what is the meaning of net worth? Paid up share capital plus security premium plus reserves created out of profit minus miscellaneous expenditure to the extent not written off, right? Sir, if a company which is preparing its standalone as well as consolidated financial statement, whether we need to what? Whether we need to check standalone financial statement or consolidated financial statement. For net worth, you need to check standalone financial statement. Okay. Pitambar is asking, sir, company A is holding with 60% holding in company C. Company B has 25%. So what Pitambar is saying, there is company C. There is a company C. There is a company A and company B. Okay. And what he is saying, company A is holding 60% in C. Okay. And B is holding 25%. Okay. And probably 5% is held by some individual, for example, right? Then he is saying, Ind AS is applicable on B, but not a will Ind AS be applicable on B. So he's saying that Ind AS is applicable on B, right? Ind AS is applicable on B. Okay. So if Ind AS is applicable on B, C is the associate of B. So on C, Ind AS will be applicable. And A is the holding of C. So by this leg, Ind AS will also be applicable to A, right? So in this transaction, Ind AS will be applicable to A and C both. Is that clear, Pitambar? Pitambar, is that clear? Yes. So net worth has to be checked on the basis of standalone financial statement. Okay. And net worth has to be checked. Yes. Who's there?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yeah. And net worth has to be checked on the basis of standalone financial statement, and which is year-end audited financial statement, right? तो ये हमारे को नेटवर्थ कब देखनी है? ईयर एंड ऑडिटेड स्टैंडअलोन फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट की देखनी है. फॉर एग्जांपल, ABC Private Limited was a company. Okay. In financial year 1920, the net worth was 190 crores. In financial year 2021, the 31st March 21 net worth become 210 crores. In financial year 21-22, the net worth reaches to 270 crore on 31st March 22. When Ind AS will be applicable? Ind AS will be immediately applicable from the next year, which is 22-23. So Ind AS will be applicable immediately from next year, which is 22-23. Friends, in 22-23, company has huge losses. So the net worth has been eroded to 180 crores. Now tell me whether this company can go back to Ind AS. Whether this company can go back to accounting standard, because Ind AS are very vast, very detailed. So 270 crore से 180 crore पे आ गई नेटवर्थ. So कंपनी ने 22-23 में Ind AS के अकाउंट्स बनाए. नेटवर्थ has eroded to 180 crores. Tell me, can this company go back to accounting standard because the net worth has eroded? Answer is no. Ind AS once applicable, it will always be applicable. It is an irrevocable option. Ind AS once applicable, it cannot be moved back to accounting standard. If a company has applied Ind AS voluntarily, then it has to apply Ind AS forever. Doesn't matter. Even though if the company has applied Ind AS will be applicable always. Ind AS will be applicable always. Is that clear? Is that clear, my dear friends, or not clear? Clear. Very good. Very good. Fantastic. So now quickly I will summarize points related to applicability. So my dear friends, Ind AS once applicable, it will always be applicable. So insurance and banking companies are not allowed to apply Ind AS even voluntarily. Okay. Companies that are listed or in the process of listing, which are filing their DRHP, they have to apply Ind AS. But if the company which are in the process of getting subscribed in SME stock exchange, or they are listed on the SME stock exchange like NSE Emerge, On those companies, Ind AS are not mandatorily applicable. They can apply on voluntary basis. Companies not covered in roadmap as per net worth or any other criteria, they are also exempted from Ind AS. That is, Ind AS is not applicable to non-corporate entities. Net worth has to be calculated as per Section 2, Clause 57 of the Companies Act 2013 and calculated on the standalone financial statement at the year end. Ind AS will be applicable to both consolidated as well as standalone financial statement of the company. Ind AS once adopted either voluntarily or mandatorily cannot be revoked in the prospective years. An Indian company which is subsidiary, associate or joint venture of a foreign company should prepare the financial statement as per Ind AS if it meets the criteria in Indian context, right? An overseas subsidiary, associate and joint venture of Indian company may prepare its standalone financial statement in accordance with the requirement of local jurisdiction. They need to migrate their accounts in Ind AS only for the purpose of Indian parent or Indian venturer or Indian investor, right? Is that clear? Okay. Net worth we have talked about all these aspects. Now let's discuss some quick brain teasers to check your understanding. ABC India Private Limited is having a net worth of 100 crores. It's a private limited entity, unlisted entity. Ind AS is not applicable because net worth is also less than 200 crores, right? Net worth is also less than 250 crores, sorry, 250 crores. So tell me whether Ind AS is applicable on ABC India Private Limited. Answer is no. And it is a subsidiary of ABC USA LLC. It is a subsidiary of US entity. But the US entity net worth is 1000 crores. बताओ whether Ind AS is applicable to that US company and Indian company. दोनों पे ही नहीं होगा. Indian company unlisted है, net worth is less than 250 crore. So as per its own criteria, Ind AS is not applicable and you are not required to check the reference of the overseas entity. On both the entities, Ind AS is not applicable. Second question. ABC India Private Limited is having a net worth of 300 crores and it is having subsidiary in Bangladesh and Vietnam. These companies are very small companies and having net worth of less than 50 crores. So Indian companies having a net worth of more than 250 crore, Ind AS applicable? Yes. They have subsidiary in Bangladesh and Vietnam, overseas entities. These are small entities. How does it matter if these are big entities also? Advise the Ind AS applicability on both these companies. So on Indian entity, Ind AS is applicable. For overseas entities, not applicable. But these overseas entities has to prepare fit for consolidation Ind AS accounts for India CFS. In last class, when I was conducting class in the last batch, one of the student asked me, sir, how come this foreign entity will prepare Ind AS? So their chartered accountant, their resource will not be aware about the Ind AS provisions. So my dear friend, normally what happened? Reliance has more than 100 companies outside India. So who is migrating their accounts into Ind AS? It's Indian people who is sitting in India, right? You guys, like Priya, like Venkata, Ankit, you will migrate US GAAP, Singapore, Malaysian financial reporting financial statement into Ind AS financial statement. यहाँ की financial reporting team. Okay? Clear? Clear or clear? Is it clear or clear? यहाँ पर पेपर पहले लीक हो गया, आंसर पहले से ही आ गया. क्वेश्चन नंबर 3 पे. ABC India Limited is a listed company in India. Since it is a listed company, Ind AS applicable, not applicable? Ind AS is applicable. It has a subsidiary XYZ India listed on a SME stock exchange. XYZ India, Ind AS applicable, not applicable? It can apply voluntarily, but mandatorily not applicable. And it has an associate also, which is a bank. Applicable, not applicable? Tell me. On bank, for the purpose of regulatory filing, Ind AS not applicable. But yes, for the purpose of consolidation, this bank and the SME entity both will migrate its accounts under Ind AS. Okay. ABC Limited is having an investment in ABC and Associates LLP. And ABC is applying Ind AS while preparing the financial statement. Advise the applicable gap on LLP. बताओ LLP किस पे बनाएगा अपने accounts? LLP will, yes, you are right, Chitra. Geet, you are also right. And Manish, you are also right. Anyone else who want to try? Yes. Pitambar, You are absolutely right. So this LLP will prepare its accounts under accounting standard, but for the purpose of consolidation, this LLP will migrate its accounts under Indian accounting standard. Absolutely right, Ankit. Okay. Yes. Friends, A Limited, a tricky question. A Limited, a listed company, is an associate of ABC Private Limited. You remember the example? Mohan says that I am son of Ram. What Ram will say? I am father of Mohan. So here, A Limited, a listed company, means Ind AS is applicable. It is an associate, मतलब ये बच्चा है. It is an associate. A Limited is son, A Limited is बच्चा, A Limited is a kid of ABC Private Limited. A Limited is a kid, is a child of ABC Private Limited. Right? So A Limited is an associate of ABC Private Limited and the net worth of ABC is less than 250 crore. क्योंकि private limited है तो unlisted है and net worth is also less than 250 crores. So tell me whether Ind AS is applicable to A Limited, whether Ind AS is applicable to ABC Private Limited also. Geet is saying on A Limited, Ind AS is applicable because it's a listed company, and on ABC Private Limited, Ind AS is not applicable because it is an investor. You are absolutely right, Geet. You are absolutely right, Geet. Absolutely right. Yes. So Ind AS is applicable on A Limited. It is not applicable on ABC Private Limited. Okay. Now the question comes, sir, then how come ABC Private Limited will do the consolidation? In that case, A Limited has to prepare fit for consolidation AS accounts, or alternatively, since this ABC Private Limited is not a NBFC, this ABC Private Limited can also apply Indian accounting standard. Okay, practically यही करते हैं लोग. Last brain teaser, ABC India Limited is a listed company in India. If it is a listed company, India is applicable, not applicable? Applicable. It has a subsidiary which is unlisted NBFC. Oh, this is a listed company and there is a subsidiary which is unlisted NBFC and the net worth of this subsidiary is also less than 250 crore. Discuss the applicability on Ind AS. Tell me, क्या होगा यहाँ पे? What happens? Chandrakant is saying, okay, he has given the last answer. What is the answer of this question? Last question, question number 6. Geet is saying, sir, on ABC Ind AS is applicable, on NBFC Ind AS is not applicable, but NBFC will prepare fit for consolidation. Ind AS accounts for the purpose of consolidation. Right? Clear? So friends, today we have covered IFRS. What is the full form of IFRS? Intention for reading standards. Remember this full form till your examination. Intention for reading standard. If you have intention for reading standard, IFRS is a cakewalk for you. And what is Ind AS? It's an Indianized version, converged version of IFRS applicable to India. Remember my visit to Dubai, Singapore, Malaysia, right? When I was speaking on SGFRS, MFRS and IFRS. Okay. So then we have covered the journey of IFRS and Ind AS. We have covered the meaning of adoption and convergence. We talked about the carve out, carve in and removal of options. We talked about how the standard is structured in India. What is the structure of Indian accounting standard? Main standard, alphabetical appendix and the Roman appendix, right? So we covered that part also. Then we covered how many standards when it was notified, right? What is the difference? There are 27 AS, 39 Ind AS. Then what we have covered? We have covered that what are the brand new standard like agriculture, hyperinflationary economy, financial instrument, ESOP, insurance contract, fair value measurement. There are a lot of new areas where these new standards are there. Then we have covered the roadmap and applicability of Ind AS we have covered, right? Where we have covered that Ind AS is applicable on which set of companies. Wherever Ind AS is not applicable, accounting standard is applicable. We discussed the meaning of net worth. We discussed it has to be on the standalone financial statement, right? We discussed all these aspects with a lot of practical examples. We discussed The relationship, father and son, nephew and uncle. We discuss if one company is associate, the other one is investor. If one company is joint venture, the other one is venturer. If one company is subsidiary, the other one is holding or parent, right? So we discussed all these concepts. We have also understood what are the SME stock exchange, like NSE Emerge is one of the SME platform of the stock exchange. So we covered all these aspects today, right? And of course, division 2 to schedule 3. This I will be covering in my next session, okay, with Ind AS 1, because it is largely on the format of the financial statement. Today we have also discussed that in India there are three set of standard. One, Indian Accounting Standard notified under Companies Act, accounting standard notified under Companies Act, and since it is under Companies Act, it is applicable for the companies. And there is a third set, which is accounting standard issued by ICAI, which is applicable to non-corporate entities. In India, we have three format of the financial statement: division 1 to schedule 3, division 2 to schedule 3, division 3 to schedule 3. Division 1 is for AS compliant companies, not applicable for you guys. Division 2 is for Ind AS compliant companies, relevant for you guys. Division 3 is on NBFC companies on which Ind AS are applicable. So we are going to cover only division 2 to schedule 3 in the next session. I welcome Shilpa madam from Board of Studies of ICAI. She is there. So Shilpa ma'am, hand over to you, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning, students, and I welcome all everybody to this new batch of financial this final paper, financial reporting. See, we'll be having overall 78 classes in this batch, and we'll cover the entire syllabus. Sir will be there for this entire month. Alok sir will be there in the entire month of August with you, so you have opportunity to ask everything, but there are some general questions which sir may not be able to reply. Let me just cover it. Rajiv Sharma has asked, I have a question related to study material relevant for the May 2026 CA final examination as to when will the module be available on the CDS portal to order on or BOS portal in PDF format. See students, since last amendment which came in your Indian accounting standard was in August 2024, that has been incorporated in the study material of November 2024 edition, which is relevant for May 25, September 25, and January 26. However, since no amendments are there, that is also applicable for your May 26 examination. I know, but we, as of now, we are not planning for any revised edition. But in case a revised edition come, we always cover on in the initial pages, we cover a page which mentions significant changes vis-a-vis your old edition or previous edition of the study material. So whatever changes are there, we mention it there. From there you can come to know what are there. From website reference related relevant material, you can take it out or you can just refer it. However, what we, since there are no amendments, so there won't be any change in the solution. The only change will be that we may incorporate the questions of RTPs in the next edition of the study material. So your RTP you're already having, so don't wait for the new edition of the study material, and you can start your preparation with the existing study material, and even you can buy that material. Okay. And those students, because this time in the new batch I am seeing many new students have joined the class, so all the students, I wish you have also joined the WhatsApp group of our Board of Studies academic for final level. Yes, see, if you see on the in the chat box, there's a link for joining that WhatsApp group. Those students who have joined new and are not there in the WhatsApp group, we request them all to join the WhatsApp group through that link. Okay, the invite has been sent on the chat box. Students, those who have not joined, they can join. Any query which you have besides the chapter, the topic which has been covered by sir, you can ask me. Any query, general query regarding Board of Studies academic, your financial reporting general query, you can ask me. I'm there to reply you. And I request all of the students to fill the feedback form session wise. Feedback form is also there. Okay, one Ankit has asked one question. Ma'am, I have exam in January 2027. Ankit, you just unmute yourself. Should I give you an option? Just a minute. Huh? Ankit Kumara. Okay. I have given you an option to unmute. Okay, you are asking whether I shall order a book of DT and IDT. See, for DT and IDT, definitely there'll be a new book. For you have to buy the new book. For DT and IDT, you cannot refer the May 2000, what is as of now issued, May 25, January 26 examination. That won't be relevant. They will come with the new edition of the study material, revised, amended as per the finance bill. Okay. For papers where there are no amendments, you can buy the existing study material. Like in your FR, your in AFM, you can buy the existing study material. Any other query? What I was mentioning the students that please fill the feedback form. I want feedback form from everybody. This is the feedback form is not only to understand your and what how much you are appreciating the class, also to understand your expectations, what expectations you are having from us, from Board of Studies Academic, and how to cater you. Where the purpose of feedback form is that we want to there's no contention with us. We are always in a place of in a place to improve, and that's why we want your feedback to understand your expectations of what is your requirement, and accordingly we'll try to customize the classes. Okay, any other query which students, if you are having, you can ask. If you see on the chat box that WhatsApp group link has been provided, please join the group and fill the feedback form. In case if we don't have any query, we can end up the session. Okay, students, then thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. हाँ कर दीजिए. Thank you.
Recording stopped.